I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to calm down with the morning light. I'm in the dirt, down in the dirt. Been real bad. I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to calm down with the morning light. I'm in the dirt, down in the dirt, down in the dirt, down in the dirt, down in the dirt.
Am muted for some reason or another. I don't know why it did not unmute my stream when it kicked. I'm changing some. It's one of those days. This is a little new. This is a little new setup. I tried to copy all my settings over. Apparently, the unmute after it kicks off of that intro countdown has not been set up. So I've got a little more work to do, but that's a sign of how this day may go. These reaction streams are a little bit experimental. We've done one of them in the past. It went pretty well. So who knows what's going to happen, though. Bear with me. We're going to have some fun today. I've got myself one of my favorites right here. I picked this bottle up the other day. This is Jefferson's Grand Selection Chateau Pinchon Baron. That's probably a terrible French accent right there, but French oak cask. So a little bit of whiskey here, and they age it in wine cask. And so it's good stuff. I like it. I really like the flavor profile. If you find a bottle laying around somewhere, I highly suggest you pick it up. Today is Shopify's Reunite. Everybody, there are no conferences this year, so everybody's doing live streams. We had Adobe's a month or so ago, and we did a reaction stream to it. I figured this would be fun. For those giving me grief about doing a bunch of Shopify content, it's e-commerce. We're going to have some fun with it. If you like Shopify, then maybe you'll find this entertaining. If you don't like Shopify, then maybe you'll be informed about what the competition is doing. Whatever floats your boat, participate in the conversation in the chat if you would. We are live right now on YouTube and on LinkedIn, although my LinkedIn is lagging pretty bad. Shopify's live stream is going to go live right at the top of the hour. So we're going to jump over into that. You'll be able to see the live stream here as well as our reactions to it. So you don't have to have it up and us up. Although I will warn you, we will be talking over it. If you don't want to hear us talking over it, then you probably just want to go over there and watch their live stream on Shopify's website. Just a note. But as always, these live streams are brought to you by Mage Mojo. So I need to roll that commercial right now because all this crap's expensive. The following broadcast is sponsored by Mage Mojo. And I want to take a minute and talk about Magento hosting, because Magento hosting is a lot like hauling stuff in my Tundra here. It's about having a tool that is sized properly for the job. This Tundra's great if I'm on the farm and I want to tow something like my old pickup truck here. But what if I wanted to tow something bigger, like, say, a space shuttle? Well, then this just isn't the right tool for the job. We know this because Toyota did it. This is a publicity stunt to show how awesome this truck is. And sure, it's pulling it, but look at how slow it is. Those people on foot are literally having to slow down to not pass this thing. And that's a lot like Magento in that you need a proper hosting environment. I've been doing Magento as long as Magento's been doing Magento, and in all of that time, I've never seen somebody who can build a site to overcome improper hosting. And with increasing customer demands, slow is just not acceptable. Mage Mojo understands the needs of Magento merchants because they focus only on Magento hosting, and they've built a reputation as a premier Magento hosting provider. They've built an incredible Magento cloud hosting platform so that their customers enjoy the speed, reliability, and scalability of cloud servers. And if you geek out about technical details, ask them about how they provide automatic horizontal scaling for free. With cloud hosting from MageMojo, there's no more worrying about flash sales or Cyber Monday traffic. If you operate a Magento store, then you need to check out MageMojo Hosting. The link is in the description of this live stream, or you can just go to magemojo.com. That's MageMojo.com. All right, now that we've got all of that sponsorship stuff out of the way, let's get to the main event. Welcome, my guest, everybody, if you would, Brett Williams to the stream. Brett, the e-commerce Maverick. If you would, introduce yourself. Tell us what you've got going on there at Maverick e-commerce.
You bet. Thanks. Good morning. So glad to be here with you, TJ, particularly for the Shopify Reunite. It's kind of curious. We've been to Unite in Toronto before, and it's always a great event, like with Magento Imagine, to learn about what the platform and what it does. We have been involved in as a Shopify partner now for probably going on 5 years, I suppose, and we've built hundreds of Shopify stores in that period of time. We've also done a lot of migrations from other platforms to Shopify and from Shopify, so we're very much part of the ecosystem there. But of late, Maverick e-commerce now is our new brand. We are getting out of the development business and focusing solely on coaching and consulting. We have some online courses, one of which is free right now, which is Abandoned Shopping Carts. And then starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, we're going to have the first free SMB Town Hall. And we're going to have a special guest each week to come in and talk about actionable steps you can take to increase sales on your online store. It doesn't matter what the platform is, but these are great. This is a great town hall where you can ask questions and get answers and talk to experts. So we're looking forward to that. So that's what I've been up to, besides just enjoying the Texas heat.
I understand that. If you would, shoot me info on that town hall, and I'll be sure to tweet it out, reshare it, if you've got it out there on the social web. So we've got about, let's see here, about 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes before Shopify goes live with their actual stream. So we're gonna do, for those that are just getting here, we're gonna do a live reaction. You'll be able to see Shopify stream here. I'm gonna switch to a view more like this, if it works here. All right. So we'll be talking over. Yeah, it's pretty good. We're small. We're in the corner. You know, our big heads won't get in the way too much. And so we will be talking over the stream, just having a good time, enjoying the content. I want your feedback as well. We've got a little bit of conversation going on in the chat. I've got a fly or a gnat or something in here too. It's going to drive me crazy during this stream. But Detective Fluffs in the chat there on YouTube says, I've never really heard too much of Shopify, but I'm interested. Now, I don't know if Detective is maybe not into e-commerce and just found our live stream, or if Detective is he's sarcastic. I don't know.
Huh?
But if you haven't heard of Shopify, you're not in e-commerce, Detective. Welcome to the stream. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to enjoy a little bit of whiskey here while we talk about whatever.
I've got margarita
Shopify
on my end.
Got a margarita.
I got margarita. So.
Yeah, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That is the motto.
That's right.
Apparently in the South today.
It's good logic. Yep.
So, you know, again, if you don't know what Shopify is, man, you may not enjoy the stream. I'm just gonna let you know. They're probably. I guess we could drop probably. They are the most popular e-commerce platform on the planet. If you're just looking at volume.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they have over 1 million stores now on their platform, and growing so rapidly, and it's really pretty insane. I do get calls occasionally from hedge fund managers and people like that wanting to know, about Shopify since it's publicly traded, and I mean, the market is still bullish on it, and they have every right to be so because their ecosystem is growing so rapidly for what they get income from Shopify payments, Shopify Capital. And now the big announcement this morning, you probably saw it, was that. And several other platforms have announced it as well, but Shopify is and BigCommerce both are launch partners for Facebook shops. And so that's a new thing. We're going to be testing that this week and writing a review about that soon and having that on our town hall as well. But this kind of integration where, you can create some really nice shops in Facebook from your Shopify page, that's going to be really cool. We had a client actually asked us, a consulting client asked us just yesterday, how do we connect our Shopify store to Facebook? What are the opportunities for that? And I said, well, it'll push up, it'll just put a little thing there and they click, come back to your store. And then today now this Facebook shop's announced. So timing couldn't be better for a lot of merchants out there.
Which I'm a little surprised at, honestly. After, they released Instagram checkout, I really thought long-term Shopify or Facebook's vision was to build their own e-commerce capabilities right into the platform. I think this is smart. I think this gets them a lot more merchants on there, gets that critical mass pretty quickly, but it's still a bit of a surprise.
Well, it is. And if you remember back when Facebook first had the ability to put stores on it, you could select whether the buyer would check out on your store or would check out at Facebook. And I think Facebook quickly learned that having their own checkout mechanism and dealing with shipping costs and all that was horrendously complicated. Right. And I think, I've been curious as to why Google doesn't have an e-commerce platform offering of its own as well. And I think it takes as you know, from working in e-commerce is a very difficult form of retail. It's very complicated and on so many levels. And I think for people like Google and Facebook to not only provide that technology, but to provide the technical support for that technology is something they're just not willing to bite off on right now.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. All right, so let's see. We've got a little bit of chat here. We've got a couple of minutes until Shopify goes live. We'll switch to that as soon as right before it goes live. Brian Nunez in the chat here says, nice hat. I'm assuming he's not talking about me, although, I do have some COVID hair going on here. It's starting to look like a hat.
Yeah. I'm wearing the hat to cover my COVID hair, but actually, I did a trim recently, so kind of.
Oh, you're good. What are you talking about?
It's not it's not a salon hairdo, but you just took the sheep shears and went like that, and there you go. But the hat covers any abnormalities that might be present.
Covers the defects.
That's
right,
it.
So we've got
about
a minute and a half.
I haven't got a hat big enough to cover all those.
That require. Well, I mean, masks are okay nowadays too, right?
Yeah,
Preferred
that's it
for most people. All right, I'm going to switch on over. We've got about a minute and a half. Let's not miss the end of this. I may have to adjust the volume. If you're in the chat, let me know if we're too loud, if we're not loud enough, if the audio from Shopify is too loud. I want us just a little louder because we're going to talk over them. Again, if you're just joining us, we are going to talk over them. I got a little flack about that in the last reaction live stream, but that's kind of the whole point. So, all right, let's kick over to this. I'm just checking my audio levels here real quick. Again, this is an experiment. We haven't done very many of these, and it looks like my microphone is pretty good. Brett, if you would, just kind of let me know your levels there.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. We are in line for Shopify Reunite.
All right, guys. See, let me know. If you're in the chat, let me know if that's, too much, if I need to turn one of us down. Walter in the chat says he likes the hat as well. Amir's asking, what do we think they're going to highlight? What are your predictions for what they're going to highlight here?
Well, the Facebook shop is going to be real important. And I think also there's been some kind of big announcements along the way this year, such as Shopify Fulfillment, which we're going to be doing some tests on in the near future as well. And so they're creating their own fulfillment network like Amazon FBA.
Right.
And I think Shopify could, and of course the Shopify Shop app that just released a couple of weeks ago, that's a big deal as well. Oh, there's Toby.
Thank you so much for tuning in for Reunite stream. These are unprecedented times. This is going to be one of the most challenging.
I wonder if that hat's surgically attached to his head.
All of our lives.
It is. It was a
I was
birthright.
hoping to get together in person with all of you, but this is no longer something we can do. And I don't think any one of us expected to spend our 2020 like this. Shopify exists to make commerce better for everyone. That's our company mission. Right now, we are dedicating ourselves to trying to get as many SMBs to survive as possible. We have looked far and wide into our roadmaps. We looked for everything that might be helpful right now. And I've tried to pull as many things forward as we could, trying to get them out of the door, shipping them, rolling them out, so that things that we ship can be helpful to you and your business.
I will give them credit.
What we
in terms of being
celebrate in this
SMB
company
focused,
is
they are the
entrepreneurship.
most S focused of the
Get to
platforms.
talk with amazing entrepreneurs every day.
Yeah,
On the
it's
phone, on
amazing
chat,
the speed at
email,
which they've
on
released things
text,
since all
and
of this
in
mess
any other
happened.
way. We know what you guys are going through. It is an extremely trying time.
But they're perfect for the
And only
small
most
1 or 2
adaptable
man
will
shop.
make it.
If you want to go e-commerce wise,
Entrepreneurs
you
are the
can
kind of
get
people
started in a short amount
who
of time.
make
Yeah, I mean,
the most
there's
out of what
still a
they
lot
got.
to do.
They're
But
not the
to be focused
people
toward the
who need things
SMB
to be
market,
just
they're more so
They're
than
people
big commerce
who can
and
see
Magento,
opportunity
even
when everyone
WooCommerce.
else
They're
sees
much more
despair.
complex to get up and running,
I
although
hope
they're more
that's a
powerful in
hopeful
some regards.
note. There's
The
also
the
an
entry bar
incredible
is
amount of
lower on
opportunity
Shopify
around.
for the small one 2 man
Today,
operation.
my team is going to tell you about the things we've seen, the things we've found, and the things we have shipped, and the things that we will ship soon. I think it should be a fun little time. I think you're going to enjoy it. And thanks again for joining us, and let's go to Reunite.
Let's go.
I see
Hello
Joseph's
and
question.
welcome
That's a
merchants,
really good
partners,
question.
and friends of
I hope we see
Shopify. Welcome to the
sections
live stream.
everywhere
I hope
saying
you're all
that'd be a
staying
nice announcement.
physically and mentally healthy these days. And of course, welcome to my co-host, Vanessa. Vanessa, how are you doing these days?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing well, although I gotta say, I'm long overdue for a haircut. Soon, if we do this, I'll start looking a little bit more like you with hair down to my shoulders.
Well, you know,
I will
like
say
I had
webinars are
bangs,
more fun
like,
with
before
alcohol,
this
though.
started. Now I have
Yes,
to swoop them like
absolutely.
this. So you're not the only one.
Pro
Craig.
tip.
Yeah, of course.
Pro tip.
And as you can see, we're speaking to you all from our homes. I'm in my basement in Canada. My son's
can't
upstairs.
tell you're in your
trying not to
home.
make
Looks
too
like
much
you're in a
noise.
cave.
My
I
dog
can't
is
either.
actually at my
He
feet.
looks like he's
because
in
he
the
loves to
void.
bark, especially when I get
As you can
packages.
see,
And
we're
I've
in
been
our
getting a
homes.
lot
No,
of
I can't.
packages
I can't
recently.
see
I don't know if
anything.
it's just
It's
me,
dark.
Vanessa, but it seems
No.
sometimes it's like hourly that I'm getting these packages arriving at my doorstep.
Yeah, and they always ring the doorbell when your kid is asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
My
My
entire
dog
studio
loves-
is full of
loves
boxes.
it
Like,
when
I don't
they
even know
come.
what to do with all these stupid
So
boxes.
today we'll be
and the
speaking
crap
about
I've
some of the
ordered.
changes to Shopify in 2020.
Our garage
Some
is
changes
filling
you
up
may
with
have already
Amazon
seen,
boxes,
and some
full
others that are
boxes
coming
as
up
well.
over the coming months. And we'll be bringing on the people that have been working hard on these projects to talk
Fill
about what
much
they built,
headspace.
why they built
Fill
them,
the
and
space a
hopefully
little.
do a few demos
Yeah.
for us. But before we jump into that, maybe, Vanessa, we should take a step back and talk about some of the things we've been seeing at Shopify, some of the trends in the data that we've been looking at. Can you share some of those with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, whenever we talk about trends, like I love to start from the first human element
have loved
of
it
like,
if she'd have said
what
no.
do you experience? I think we're all in our homes right now. We're all resorting to online shopping.
And there
a
goes
lot
her job.
more.
Yeah,
I know
well,
for
ask it
me,
as a question.
I mean, like
Can you
I haven't
share
been
it?
in a
Nah, I
grocery
don't
store
think
in
so.
probably 8 weeks now.
Yeah, same with me.
So it's, I think one thing that is really amazing is we're seeing a lot of growth in merchants who probably weren't thinking about going online before all of this. I know that the local grocery store that I go to a lot down the street, they're now
I'll tell you what I
online
like
on
about this
Shopify,
is
so
that
I can
this could
order
have
from
very
them
well
and
been
then
a
do curbside
3-day
pickup.
webinar based on
So I
the
kind of get a lot of my
traditional
groceries
Unite.
that
And they said,
way.
"No, we
So
can do it in an hour or
it's
so."
kind of
You know?
unbelievable to see, like,
We're not
not
gonna
just in the
bore you
numbers, but I think
for
all of us
endless
feel
hours.
this really
We're
personally.
going to
Right.
get right to the meat
People
of
are
it.
starting to
So
go
I like
online,
that. I
a
thought that
lot
was
more.
admirable.
For us at Shopify, we're seeing a 45%
Yeah, it's it's
increase
live, but
in
these are
people
obviously
buying from
recorded
stores they have
ahead
never
of time.
bought from before.
A
So that
little
means,
little bit of
you're
polish
not
to them, which is
just,
good.
Hey, I used to buy online.
It's
I'm
interesting
now
this
buying
format
online
versus
from people who
Adobe's,
have-
where they
I've never
dropped a
shopped
bunch of
from before.
videos
They're
for you to
not just
consume.
repeat
I'm not saying
purchases,
either one of them's
which
better,
is
but
huge
they
growth
wanted
for
a little
kind of
more
online
info, so they
shopping as a
dropped an
whole.
awful lot of videos.
It's
And
funny, I think
Shopify
we
may do
talked
that
about
after the
trend
stream.
being almost like a Black Friday, Cyber Monday. very early in the year.
I think there'll be a lot of content coming out after the
Yeah,
fact on
and
this.
I think
The
we're
Shopify
going to continue to see
remarkably has
more
done
and
a
more
great
trends
job of
change,
blogging.
especially
Their
as stuff
documentation
continues to
is
evolve with the next
really
little bit.
second to none
I
in
know
the
for us, we're
industry.
going to actually be
Their help
posting a lot of
docs and
these
API docs
insights
and
and
everything,
trends so
just
that
and
people
just
can
how
kind
to
of stay
operate the store.
abreast
It's
on it on Facebook,
I thought
Instagram,
once
Twitter.
I've written
So
3
if
books on
you don't
Magento,
follow
and I
them
thought about
today,
writing a book on
like,
Shopify, and I
check it
thought,
out, especially if you're a store
what would I
owner,
write
try to
about
make
that's
sure
not
that this is
already
gonna
in their
get
free
folks
help
that you wanna
docs,
action on it.
So
And it's a good plug for those to also mention
That's good.
that if you're watching us live and want to participate, go on one of your favorite social networks of choice and use the hashtag Shopify Reunite. And you can ask us questions. You can tell us what you love, tell us what you'd like to see more of. And of course, we'll be a little bit busy for the next hour and a half, but we'll try and get to you right afterwards if you have any questions.
And then I also know that you guys all probably signed up through the website shopify.com/reunite. So you don't have to worry about taking notes during this next little bit. It's going to be jam packed. So stay till the very end. There's going to be so much exciting stuff we're going to talk about. You don't have to worry about taking notes because everything that we do talk about here will be posted in a nice little package for you on the website. So check that out after the event.
Absolutely. So let's jump in and let's introduce our first guest, who's Michelle, who works on our payment team. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. So money. These days, getting access to money is really tough. Governments have been trying to facilitate this. Traditional banks.
So Shopify just posted a poll on Twitter
we're hearing from
about this guy's
there's a
haircut.
crunch
His
on
COVID cut,
cash
has
these
it
days.
passed the awkward stage?
Now, we have a program called Shopify Capital.
Not a
which
chance.
Not all of our viewers might know about. Can you give us a little bit more background on what Shopify Capital is and how we're trying to help our merchants these days?
We launched Shopify Capital because we saw just how difficult it was for a lot of merchants to get traditional financing. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of paperwork. It took a long time.
No kidding.
And many of you need capital
this is a great hook.
Purchase
This is a great hook
because
for
you got a large
Shopify.
purchase order or to
Because
invest
if
in
you're using Shopify
So
Capital,
with our program,
finance your
eligible
store,
merchants
it's going to
are
be
able
based on
to
your store
apply
sales,
for
and they're
Shopify
going to
right
take
within
the
their
payback
account.
based on the
And if
revenues
you're
coming back
approved, you
through
get
Shopify
funding as
payments,
little
just
as
like
a few
PayPal
days.
Capital.
And now
So
when we talk about
that
this,
means you
we're actually
stay on the
looking for
Shopify
businesses
platform.
that traditional banks
And
other
that's,
lenders
that's a
actually
really good
can't.
hook for them. Whatever
Yes, absolutely.
money they
We
might
have,
make on the
we
capital
have a view
cost,
into how your business is
on the cost of
doing.
lending, I think
We
that
know how dedicated you are to your business.
I think they're
So with
going to.
that data, we
I think it's
don't
just a
need
great hook to keep
ask you for
merchants on the
money.
platform for
We-
sure, and
we are
performing
able
merchants
to
on the platform,
see
because
how your
you're not going to be able to get that
business is
capital
doing,
unless you've proven
see
some
if you can
performance.
afford,
Well, I mean, I think a lot of what Shopify
so
has
not a lot of
done
paperwork.
is building in hooks. I
Merchants
mean, the
can
shop
get an
app,
offer for
you
Oh,
can't be on
absolutely.
there. So if they make that popular as a way of discovering products,
Just to use a few days.
you've got to be
And
on the platform.
the
So
other
they're
really
getting
key
gotta
really
be on the
good
platform.
at these
is that we
hooks.
don't have to
Yeah.
check your personal credit
Yep.
history.
Here, I'm going to
Yep.
crank my
We
volume
want
up just a little
100%
bit.
of
Give me
your
just a
business
second
as
here. I'm
well.
going to be
That
off camera
really
for a second.
matters to a lot of businesses.
Okay.
That's amazing. Now, these days we've been announcing a few things around Shopify Capital, both in terms of amounts and in terms of where it's available. Can you shed some more light on those?
Yes, so when Toby started Snow Devil, the snowboard store that is now Shopify today, he saw how important it was to get financing. And recently we heard from Charles and Janelle, who run Manic Mermaid out of Tacoma, Washington. Before COVID, they sold their products almost exclusively from their physical store. Though they were financially set for normal situations, the impact of COVID put a major strain on their finances. So when they discovered that they were eligible for Shopify Capital, they jumped at the opportunity and used the funding to give them breathing room to help move their business forward. We know that funding can go a long way. So over recent weeks, we've actually expanded the program outside the United States to include the UK and Canada. And we've actually committed an additional $2
Few interesting comments in the chat here. Brian Nunez asks if you're bald or if you were just expecting inclement weather with the hat. We already went over that. He was a little late to the game. He's just a cowboy, man. He's just a cowboy. Can't be a cowboy without the hat.
Howdy there, partner.
Walter says this is less acted than Adobe Summit. So, I mean, it seems a little less rehearsed. I get what you're saying. They don't even have a background, so they're going a little more raw. Makes sense. I would say a lot of those Adobe Summit ones were similar, though. But these do seem webcams, whereas like Adobe seemed to actually maybe set up some better cameras and things like that. All right. So, lack of a background. Neil says that lack of a background makes it more personal and less fake. And Brian says he likes the black background, much less distracting. That's why normally you blur that background out. Joseph in the chat says he thinks the documentation for Shopify is awesome.
It really is. I mean, they had done that's probably one of the greatest strengths. And again, they're so well tailored to the SMB merchant. I mean, Shopify Plus, of course, they're going after the enterprise client, and there's a whole nother level of documentation on that too. But they know that the bread and butter. If you're going to get enterprise clients, you get them by building them as SMB merchants to a larger volume. We've done some studies. We think that the break-even point of moving from regular Shopify to Shopify Plus, unless you need the higher API limits and everything, is about $800K a month. That's where the numbers make sense to move to the to the higher level. And they have thousands of enterprise clients, but they have 1 million SMB clients.
So
Did you say 800K a month?
is ready to check out
About 800K a month in volume, sales
they can
volume.
choose to pay in installments at
That's
no
about the number, because
additional cost to them.
Shopify Plus starts at about $2K a month,
Yeah.
and you get a lower rate on Shopify payments than you do with the regular. So we just ran some numbers, did some modeling, and it looks like it's about unless you need the Plus features,
Of course.
but just from an economic point of view, when you hit about 800K, you can afford to move to Plus, and you'll actually start saving money.
Okay.
Based on the differential on the payments.
Cart sizes inevitably increase conversion rate because there is that new choice of how you
800K is a lot, but it's for an enterprise
what I
client.
love
It's not
again,
that big.
and I think you mentioned a few times, but it just bears repeating. This doesn't add any additional interest to consumers as they think about splitting their purchase over multiple periods of time. So multiple months, multiple weeks, I guess.
Split into 4 over months. So if you were to do $400, that would be $400 split into 4.
So
Brian's giving me a hard time because I'm blocking her guitars and her shot. Sorry, Brian.
is this coming in?
I'm not going to reset. I'm not going to move us
Later this year.
at this point.
Okay, so later this year.
So it'll be on.
So
It's on the
merchants
Shopify
are
stream if you
thinking
really
about,
want to.
how
I
they
recommend
can
you stay
improve
here, look at the
conversion
guitars later.
and
But
how
what do
they
I
can
know?
Help get their buyers to buy more on their sites.
What
and
do
not
I
have to
know?
worry about potential credit card issues that they might have. They can actually now start using.
Walter asked in the chat, what kind of
That's
kind of
correct. And
merchants
just
do
to
you
add that,
use
it is
Shopify
integrated
Plus?
into Shop Pay. So with Shop Pay,
Well, there's two types. So one is clients that are going to see just an enormously high volume of traffic because the servers and the infrastructure for Plus is more substantial. But tied to that and similar in focus is where you're using a third-party app that requires high API limits. We took a store to Plus back in this was 2015, and we hooked it to a third-party fraud prevention tool, and it was a flash sale. They had a flash sale, a new product, and we were doing like 800. We did 800,000 orders in a 4-hour period. And the API limit on Shopify held up well, but the API limit on the third-party company kind of choked a little bit. So we worked with them in real time to get that ironed out. But where you have high volume of orders and you're using a third-party app, which is the only way you can enhance Shopify, you can't alter the code in Shopify. So any enhancements are a third-party app, and where those API limits need to really be more robust, that's where Plus really comes in handy. High volume, more so than dollar amount, it's really the high volume. But if you're getting up to 800K or so, the differential in Shopify payments rate makes it easier for you to, or more cost effective for you to use. The thing that we find that we're having a lot of issues with using Shopify for is in the B2B space. Now there is a multi-pricing module, a wholesale pricing module in Shopify Plus. And actually, if you're using a development store in as a Shopify partner, you can test that out and see how it works, but it's just not that robust. And for me, B2B, where there's complex pricing levels and we need quotes and all those kind of things, that's a prime case where something like Magento should be considered, or BigCommerce, more so Magento than BigCommerce, I think.
Hey, Brett, we've
just
lost your
depending on
camera
level of
there.
complexity.
Simple payments for that example.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
hang on.
we've lost your camera. We can still hear you. But while you're doing that, Brian, how about this?
Oh, there we
how
go.
about this? I moved down here, Brian.
I think I know.
Okay, maybe if they show her in big screen again, you can see the
I'd love to
guitars.
bring in Agatha to talk a little bit about what we're building to make.
But that was a good
your
answer
online
there.
store
Hopefully, Walter, that gave you the
welcome,
answer you were
Agatha.
looking for.
Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Craig. It's awesome to be here to talk about the online store.
Okay, so I mean, I talked a little bit about some of the trends, but I really want to kind of go back into what we're seeing as Shopify. A lot of people are now coming to Shopify to get online who are from sectors that we normally probably wouldn't think to be online. A lot of restaurants, a lot of food and bev. I know like we all know somebody in that industry that's probably been affected by this. And they're having to go online in ways that like they
And that's
probably
true,
haven't,
Joseph,
like how
about
does a
the
restaurant
Google
go
Tag
online?
Manager,
What does
the
that look
scripts.
like? They're
I
probably
mean,
having to
that-
reimagine their
particularly in the
business.
checkout
So can you tell us a
area,
little bit about
because
what
with
we're
Plus,
doing for
you have to
those
get the
people
Plus
who
in
have
order to
never
do
been
any
online
kind
before,
of to
especially
affect
if
anything
their
in the
business probably
checkout
isn't just
necessarily.
traditional selling products.
But we've used GTM successfully in regular
Absolutely.
Shopify
And
stores
you're
as
talking
well.
about some of the trends that we obviously see
And
of how
you know,
retail
it-
businesses or
it-
the non-traditional
it can work.
e-commerce type
You
businesses
you have
are
to
having
you have to
open up
really
e-commerce
do your
shops.
GTM
That
code
gave a
right
big
to make that
impact on
happen.
what we're prioritizing across
But
the
it can
entire
work, or
online
you
store.
can
We
do a
really
combination
dedicated
where you
to
use
help
GTM for
businesses
everything
roll
else, but
up
you
and get
use
to
the
market
Shopify
quickly.
Google
So
Analytics
say you're a
for
restaurant,
tracking
maybe
the
you're
sales
focused
and
on a
those
fine
kinds of
dining
things. So
experience.
we've
The
been able to
last
use it
few months
successfully,
have
even on
completely
regular
flipped
stores.
everything upside
Yeah, I don't
down
think
in terms of your business.
so far. I don't feel like
These
they've
stores have
given
needed to, like,
anything
these
super
restaurants,
exciting in
these
this
different
conference. I
service shops,
mean,
they've needed to
it's
circle
Well, they're
it'll
just
get there. Maybe
they're
they're just
chatting
warming
around.
us up right now, aren't they? They're
They're
warming
just
us up.
warming us up. They're making sure that we're all, you know, we all have ample drinks and we're ready to go. So
Get liquored up, it's coming. But, you know, when they get to the important stuff, I promise we'll let you listen to it. Maybe, maybe not.
Available to all merchants, and this Express theme, the name's
I always wonder on these things if these people actually stage this, or if like how clean that tabletop is over there. Like, is there a bunch of stuff piled up right off screen over here that
Oh,
you know
yeah.
she just
Oh,
like shoved it all off
as
screen?
fast as possible.
hey, I'm not going to show you what all's
so
in
I
my
mean,
office.
we have lots of themes
you
on the
kidding
theme
me?
store
You
today.
wanna see
I think
this?
the themes, especially for people
That's not
viewing
going to happen.
online today, is not going to be anything.
No,
but what
this
makes
this
Express
wall
so
behind me,
different
that's
and
carefully
makes it so
structured.
easy
Outside
for-
of that, forget it. You don't
Yeah,
want
so
to
first
Unstructured.
of all,
You
it
don't
is
go
a
there.
one-page online
I saw your
store,
set
so it's
actually,
really quick to
TJ,
set
and I
up, and
went,
it provides
I got
all
to
the most
have
important
something
relevant
like that.
information
I don't want,
right
I'm
there as
not
soon as you
into the
go onto
neon
the
light
online
thing,
store.
but
And it's
I
also
wanted
centered
something, you
around
know.
a
So I've
mobile
got the
experience, so
the
it's
map
really
of
easy for
Texas
any of your
here.
mobile buyers or
Okay,
users to go
I've got
in
my.
and pick a couple of products and make purchases.
No, some of your viewers
But,
may
you know
not
what,
even know
instead
this.
of talking about it, why don't we actually take a look at what it looks like? Because it's always so much easier to see it when you see it in action. So I'm going to just pop that
See
over
that?
right here on the screen in front of you.
I see
this is
that.
the experience of the online store. If you're a
Is
buyer
that you?
and you're
You know what that's
going onto
from?
that store the first
That's
time,
me
you're
on
going
the
to see
right.
a quick preview of that store at the very
I
top.
don't know. It
John
looks like
Travolta on the left.
yeah, I was about to say it looks like Urban
And as
Cowboy.
you scroll down, you see the different products
That's
at
right.
this particular store, in this case a restaurant.
I had a speaking
available.
part in that
There's a few
movie.
different tabs, so you
Nice.
can choose which products you want.
I
what
played one of his
quantities,
friends,
and
his
then kick
buddies,
off the
one of his
checkout
four
flow.
buddies in the
We
film.
call it a one-page experience, but of course you're going to have that cart and that checkout experience that would be expected as well.
Wow. Okay. So it's a lot easier to get online, less to configure, but it's also as someone viewing the website, also just really easy to navigate without having to build like a ton of pages and worry about a ton of like design content. I saw gift cards in there. I mean, gift cards isn't new, but I know we have news about it.
Yeah, exactly. You called it out. So you're right. Gift cards is not a new feature, but what is new is that anyone who's on a Shopify plan today can have access to the gift card. So before we only had it available for a couple of our plans, now anyone who is a Shopify merchant
They've
can take
opened that up to more
advantage.
plans.
And we definitely recommend that you do because that's a quick cash flow that you can get onto your online store right now.
Yeah, I know. For us, we've actually bought quite a lot of gift cards, and I've seen a lot of stores around.
Wasn't she the one with the guitars?
Toronto
Where'd they go?
Actually, using gift cards as a way to like, hey, when we get back up and running, get this gift card. It's going to be a
Was
20%
it like
discount
she's the
off
one
of
that had the
gift
guitars,
card,
didn't
which
she?
is a really great way to still support them,
so.
but then they don't have to worry
know.
about getting everything online right away. It's still at least one thing that they can get.
I may have been
online
drinking too
right off
much.
the
I
bat.
don't know. Now I'm like
So
losing
we're
my
talking about
mind.
restaurants and services, but obviously,
Brian, didn't she have the
everybody,
guitars,
when they're
man? Let
thinking
me
about those
know.
businesses, they think about tipping because it's such an important way that you get money into the hands of your employees. What are we doing around supporting that?
So first off, tipping is available today for anyone who wants to use it. We just launched it over the last few days or weeks. So definitely check it out. The way it looks, we'll pop in a demo here so you can take a look as I'm describing it. But throughout your checkout flow, you can enable it. And at that point, the buyer, when they're on the payment method step, will see the option to add in a tip. We call it tipping, but you can actually do a couple different
I
configurations
saw that. I
with
haven't
it behind the
determined
scenes. So
if
it
that's
doesn't
a
necessarily
special
just have to be tips.
customization or if that,
Yeah, what
that's a
else
feature.
can
I
they
think
use it
it's
for?
just
Because I
customization.
know once the money comes in, like how is it like tied to an employee? Like how does that manage and what freedom does it give them?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, when you're collecting money in this new area around tipping, we calculated it separately. So you'll be able to go in and look around at how much has been donated or given into that particular space. So it'll be isolated out from just different additional line items inside of your order.
I don't know. I get a little frustrated by the tip economy. Like I don't know who I'm supposed to tip, who I'm not supposed to tip. Now I got to tip every damn e-commerce site I go to. That's stress I don't need.
You could potentially, so that if you're asking people to donate to a local charity,
Well, we tip our grocery,
just generally ask for a little bit more support
the
towards your
curbside
business,
pickup
you can make
delivery
those
guy,
tweaks, and then because you're
and that kind
able
of
to
tipping,
see
and that
how
may,
much has
and
been
I think
donated
that's
in that
where it has some
particular
value.
space,
Is if you're
decide
doing
how to use
curbside
that income
pickup
that
or
makes
home
most sense for your
delivery,
business.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that
love
was
that.
one
I've
of the
seen a
things that
lot
was
of folks
missing
use,
was the ability
like,
to
hey,
tip
this is going
those
straight to our
delivery people
employees, or like, hey, we're going
to do that. But just tip in
10%
general
to
to
feeding
sustain a
kids. So
retail business,
that's awesome.
I find that a little
So
strange as well.
just to
Yeah,
recap,
because it's
like,
not
you
going to be
kinda
just
mentioned it
used
throughout,
like
but,
that.
to recap, when
It's
is
like
all of this
if you
available?
go
Is it
to
all
you ever been to
available
Moe's,
already today?
the burrito
That's
place?
right. So between gift cards,
It's
We
like
don't have
Subway.
Moe's here.
It's like Subway for burritos.
And by the way,
Yeah, you're in
call
Texas.
out
You get
Okay.
real burritos.
Yeah,
It's like
we have,
Subway for burritos.
It's
And
not just
so you
Right.
go through the line and you tell them what you want on your burrito, and you get to the end, and there's a big jar there they've half filled with dollar bills to make it look like people are tipping. Are you supposed to tip those people?
Take a look at this theme. It's
Like
really
they're getting paid a salary. It's not dependent upon tips. They just did their job and made me a burrito. They did not go the extra mile. They did not walk it to my car. They didn't give me a special burrito, and I just don't know if I'm supposed to tip those people or not.
Okay.
Just because there's a jar doesn't mean I'm supposed to tip them.
Now, if I pay with cash and I got some, and they give me silverback, I drop it in the jar.
I never have cash though, so I got to go out of my way to tip them.
They're not being overly. Now, I will admit though, if someone is like, there's a gelato shop near us called Bat City Gelato, great gelato, and their staff is really helpful, and they're giving us taste, and they're talking to us, and they're engaging with us. And so when I go to check out with the little square, iPad deal,
Yeah, so
I'll tip them
cross-border sales,
because they're
it's
friendly and
really
engaging.
so
But if
just
they're
to
not,
reiterate what
I mean, for me, a
cross-border
tip
really means. So
should
say
not be
you're in
automatic.
France and
And
you're
Right.
I've gone to restaurants
and
where
you're
I've
shopping around and you
not
want to
tipped
purchase,
or
but
tipped
the
very
source
little
from which you're
if I
purchasing
felt
from
like
in
we
the
just
US,
didn't get
that's considered cross-border, right? The
engaged
buyers
quality
live
of
in the country,
service.
then the
Right.
merchant is
Just that way. I'm not trying to be
So
mean.
what are we doing there? We're
I know
actually
this is
starting to
a big
roll
part of their
out the
wage,
concept of
but at the
country-specific
same time,
stores.
earn it.
Don't get scared here. This
Right.
doesn't mean you
I mean,
have to
I'll
manage a
always
whole
tip
bunch
at a
of different
restaurant.
stores.
If I sit down and somebody waits on me, now, how much you get
One
tipped
store
will
that
be
you're managing,
affected
or other
by,
products, your inventory, you can
how well you do. But like if I go to some random shop and I buy some random thing, I hate that stupid Stripe point of sale or whatever it is where they flip it around and then like it's a signature page and a tip box, and they're gonna flip it back around. And now
Yeah.
you have to choose no tip and be the asshole while they flip it back around and look at it. It's stressful, man. What's wrong with these people?
Well,
Like at
see,
least I
like the
can't
ones-
like sign no tip and walk away because they're just sitting there looking at me.
Well, there are ones that allow you to tip, and then the next question is, do you want a receipt or not? And so it kind of gets over that real quick. Those are the ones I like. But you're right. I don't. They can take a look at it and go, "Ooh, what?"
Yeah. It's a food truck. I just got a taco. I don't like all you did was hand me a taco.
online store, even though it's based out of the US, can also be configured for
Yeah, if you want to get paid more,
France and the
put it
UK.
into the price.
Actually
The
drilling
price
into
is
France
already
for a
pretty
moment
freaking
here.
high
In
at the
France, they
food
want to
truck.
enable
So,
French language as well as English.
which I don't
And
get.
also
Food
they
truck
want the currency to be
prices
local for Europe.
really don't seem that
That's
inexpensive
basically all
considering
you
the
need to
low
do from the
overhead.
merchant store setup. Now let's use that example
Joseph
again,
says it's
Vanessa.
not a living
You're
salary at
in
Moe's.
France,
If they
and you're
smile,
in
at
the
least give
US
them $1.
everybody
Fair
has that.
point,
So you go onto
Joseph.
Google and
I
you
feel
search
like
for
Moe's
five
not paying
awesome
their
people
employees
are
should not
awesome
be
in
my
that.
fault,
And
but
the first
I
thing
agree
that
with you.
comes up
You know,
is
if they do a
you're gonna
good
be
job, I
merchant
do tip.
store advertising
But it's just
on
one of
that
those like,
or
are
maybe
you
it just comes up
expected
as
to
a
tip
regular search
everybody you
result.
encounter
So you
throughout the
click
course
on
of a
that,
day?
and now you're going on to my
That's where
store.
we're going.
But you're not seeing
I
the
held the door for
advertising
you. You
button.
didn't
You're
tip
gonna
me.
see that
Like,
store show
it's not
up.
my job to
And
hold the door. I was just
click
walking in
up
front of you.
our domain.
You
You're
know?
going to see potentially in French or English, depending on the preferences that you have. But
So we're
prices
now
that
buying
you're
in
gonna see
French
there, they're
here.
going to be in euros, not in US dollars.
Lord,
I was
it's a
gonna
little
say, I
blurry
kinda
for
wish I
me,
was
so
in
I'm
France trying to buy
glad.
a handbag, but anyways, let's
So
keep
this
going.
was an interesting question
So
that
if
came
you're
up
buying this handbag,
recently about
what, and
checkout
I'm getting
process.
charged,
That
you know,
one of
one of
our
the things that we
clients
see
asked us, said,
a lot, I think when we're buying online, all of us know this.
asked about
What
one
am I getting
page checkout
charged in
on,
that
on
scenario when I
Magento,
am in
buying an
France
add-on
buying
for
a
that.
handbag?
Another one asked us about the
Yeah,
checkout
and isn't it
process in
super
Shopify. Why don't
frustrating
they
when
have
you're
a
buying something
quote unquote
and
one
you
page?
think you're paying in a
And
currency and then you see these
what was
changes on
interesting
your
is my
credit card
wife went to
charge?
buy
Yeah.
some
The
products.
whole
We have a
point
new
behind what we're
granddaughter,
building here
and
is
she
that
went
that's not going
to
to happen. So when you make
I
that
think it was a store
purchase
called
in your
Ruffle Butts,
local
and they're on
Euro currency
Magento,
for this really
and they
awesome
had a
handbag that I'm
one-page
selling,
checkout.
you're going to get
And she
charged
said,
in
"This is
euros.
too
But I, on the
overwhelming."
other hand, as the merchant, I'm
She
still
said, "I have to
processing all
fill
my
out
sales in my
all
local
of this
US
stuff
dollars. So
on
I don't
one
have to deal with
screen."
worrying about all
And
the
she did that
currencies
and
my
hit
buyers are
submit,
buying
and she'd
from
forgotten
products
one
with. I
piece.
just get to
So
deal
it
with the
errored
current
out, after
currency
it
that I run my
ground and
business in.
ground and
Yeah.
ground, it comes back and says,
That's
"Oh,
amazing.
you
Because
forgot
right
to enter your
now,
phone
I
number,"
think
whatever it
one of the
was.
things we all hate is seeing
And she had to
fees
re-enter
and
some
seeing
like the credit card number stuff because it
charges
didn't
that
save that. And
doesn't
she
attribute to
said,
the
"This
amount that
is
we think we
horrible.
paid
What is
for.
this?" I said, "Well, that's a
So that's a
one-page
huge step
checkout."
forward.
And
Okay,
so,
but we also know,
and I
I
had
mean,
seen
like
some
we're talking
studies
about
done, I
adjusting
think by
prices and
Magento or
FX and all
somebody
of
a
that.
couple of years
Like
ago
people
that
spend a
showed that
lot of
the
time
Magento
worrying
process of,
about their pricing
do your
structure and
customer
making sure
information,
everyone
then
knows about
shipping
it.
information,
So
then
how
payment
do they
information
manage that?
is not a
As
deterrent.
prices change all the time,
It's a
people
checkout
try to manage
process.
it by
And
themselves.
Shopify does the same thing. You put in the shipping address, and then you go to shipping solution, and then you see a shipping solution, and then you go to payment. And I don't find that difficult at all. In fact, I like pages that I can focus. Okay, I need shipping information. All right, let me get that. Great. Now what? Oh, now the payment information. Okay, I can enter that. Rather than having this whole screen with 5 or 6 dozen different items I have to scan over. Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of the one-page checkout philosophy. I think that having that process of where you can think shipping, payment, checkout, boom. I think that's a much better way to go.
Well, there's
So that's
also
my opinion.
a lot of thought around sunk cost fallacy there as well. In that you give them easy things to fill out first, and then you get to stuff like payment that takes a
Yeah,
little more effort.
exactly.
And so they've already invested in entering all of this data. Then that's why like a lot of you search for like a mortgage loan, and you're going to hit Rocket Mortgage, and they're going to ask you some simple questions. Oh, are you buying or refinancing? And then you
That's
move
it.
to the next one. It's a little harder, and then they're like, "What's your info?" So we can send you 8,000 different people that want to loan to you. So it's one of those.
Is that how
You hit them with
Is
the
that what
easy
Rocket
stuff.
Mortgage
Yeah, pretty much.
is that what Rocket Mortgage is? Just a clearinghouse?
Yeah, it's basically they'll outsource it to like 8,000 people. They will never stop calling you.
Okay, great. But let's
See, I hate those kind of things. You see these things on TV all the time. Call it.
what's coming new up next for the online
Do you need
store?
help with, or
Obviously, it's
do you need
something
health?
that
Do you need
everyone
life
knows are
insurance?
going
Get
online.
low cost
Can you
life
share
insurance.
tidbits on kind of
Go
what
online
you guys are
here,
working
like
on that's
Select
gonna be
Quote or
coming up
something,
in
and
the
all of a sudden
next
you've
6
got
months?
17 different
Yeah, so we
offers,
have
and now you're
been
getting
really
calls and
focused
emails
on
about
bringing a
17
lot
different
more
insurance companies.
flexibility,
I don't
customization,
want that. I
personalization when
want
it comes to
you
building
to
a
make
product
insurance to
store.
me.
We're
I
basically
don't
But-
want to
using
deal with
the
17
editor, the
people.
new online
If you
store.
want to irritate somebody, sign them up for Rocket Mortgage.
Experience sounds like that sounds a little bit cryptic. Can you break it down a little bit for us?
Let me make a note of that.
Yeah,
I got
sure.
a few people
So
I'd like to
most of you
irritate. Let
here
me see what
listening
I
in
do.
are merchants who have
Yeah.
an online store set up already. So you've gone through the experience, or one of the people in your business has gone through the experience of setting up that store. But when you set up the store, there was a lot more flexibility available on your homepage where you could create custom sections instructions or content, images, and text. So think of that same experience, but actually a whole lot better, like a version 2.0 of that experience available to every page on your website. bunch more flexibility across the online store.
Yeah, sorry, I know on the homepage right now you can like drag and drop and create like totally different experiences than you can anywhere else. So what you're saying is now that's going to be available
Oh, way to go,
on
Brian.
product
Nice rate.
pages, collection, like every page on the online store.
Yeah, well, actually, let's just take a look so I can show you what this actually looks like. So we'll go into the new experience, this new online store view, where you'll be able to click in, open up the store. What we'll see
think we're
here
gonna
is the
see
first page. That's your home
rates
page.
even
It
go
looks a
down
little bit
further
similar.
because
Behind the
fewer
scenes, there's actually a
people
lot
are
of
gonna
rework that we've
to
done.
get mortgages with unemployment rates so high. It's going to put more demand, less demand on the market. And I think
I
you'll
hope
see
so.
even more competitive real estate. Yeah.
I'm looking at some houses. I hope so. Although I just bought this
Yeah.
one. Neil's in the chat here says, curious as to how you guys take care of the carrier system with Shopify in the U.S. Here in Europe, it can be quite the hassle due to all the different carriers in all the countries and all the different APIs. Is this similar in the U.S.? My answer would be no. We got it pretty easy. You just use UPS, USPS, and FedEx, and you're done. If you use all those, sometimes just the postal service and UPS, and you're ready to go. You seen anything different there, Brett?
No, I mean Europe is an interesting case, but they do have DHL is pretty prevalent there, and DHL has last mile agreements with many of the countries' postal services. In most cases, they can provide a tracking number and tracking status all the way to final delivery, last mile. Not in all cases, though, so it can get complicated. I think if you're trying to use postal as a resource only, then I think you're going to have much more challenge. But I think if you use DHL, it's probably the lowest cost carrier over there. Of course, UPS and FedEx will provide door-to-door last mile service, but they're usually more expensive. So no, I understand. I mean, the EU hasn't made shipping any easier there, but I think you one of the things that I always teach clients is that you have to work out your back-end shipping mechanism independently of what you offer to the front-end customer. Now, if you're trying to offer to the customer real-time rating for a wide variety of scenarios, one, I think you're going to see a higher bounce rate. I really do. Because customers don't want to see this varying charges and complex charges, and they get to the shipping and they all of a sudden they're listed with 12 different choices and their eyes bug out and they don't know what to do. I think it's much better for you to do some financial modeling and determine, is there a flat rate I can charge? Can I also offer one or two expedited rates in addition? Or can I just roll it in and offer free shipping up as a certain amount or whatever, but make it simple so you can communicate those shipping charges right up front, right at the front door. That way it makes it really easy. It doesn't matter what you're being charged on the back end. Don't subject the customer to your own complexities. That will increase your bounce rate like nobody's business. So make the shipping on the front end simple for the customer. They don't care if it comes postal or FedEx or UPS or DHL. They really don't care as long as it lands on their doorstep. So provide the best method that makes financial sense for you, but make it very simple for the front end consumer.
I'm going to get real close to the microphone for this one, and I'm going to say, amen.
I would say lots is
Hallelujah, brother.
Of the year.
Yes.
Really excited about all the cool stuff that's coming there. Now, we spent a bunch of time talking about
Brian said it was a different Asian lady with the guitars and that we weren't paying attention and we're racially insensitive. He didn't say that, but it comes across that way because we were talking, we weren't looking. Was she wearing a red shirt as well? I apologize. My fault. I've been talking to Brett here.
Satishi on the line.
Hey, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Hey,
See, he's got a real camera. Now we got somebody with a real camera. You see the blur?
Pretty
He's got it going on.
About some of the data we've been seeing around how resilient
He saw us early and wanted to
Can you
copy
share
our
that with some of
style.
our viewers?
I mean, I don't think any of us could have imagined a short while ago that half of retail stores would have to close down in late April. But that's exactly what's happened with retail merchants on Shopify as well. What I'm most excited about is that the story doesn't stop there. I'm so proud of how these merchants have reacted and adapted their business in that short time. So what happened is that 71% of sales coming through Shopify point of sale in those 6 weeks from March 13th compared to the 6 weeks before went away. But those retailers replaced 94% of those sales through their online stores in that time. And that's really the power of multi-channel Shopify.
So in other words, those offline sales
I really feel like this guy's a
almost entirely.
hostage.
You said
I think
70%
somebody's
drop,
holding him hostage right
but
now in a
then
cave somewhere.
very quickly recovered online.
Exactly. They were able to adapt their business with the way
They're like
that
holding up a
consumers
card
are
and forcing them to
adapting
read
their
it.
purchasing behavior, and they could do that all instantly from within Shopify.
That's amazing. And now,
I
you already
wish my
mentioned
beard
Shopify
looked like
point of
that
sale,
guy's right there.
but
I'm gonna be
just a
straight
couple
with
weeks
you.
ago,
I'm very
we
beard. I got
launched
beard envy.
probably
Something fierce
the
right now.
biggest update, upgrade, new version, rewrite.
Not me.
Use your word.
I actually have a full beard,
We launched
can't
the
you tell?
all-new Shopify point of sale.
I can't
Can
grow
you
a
tell
beard
me
because
about
it just
what led to the
it's
creation?
very
and
light
what are the
here,
new
and then
things
it's
that
dark right
merchants
here, and it
might
always
wanna
looks like
look
I'm
at
just
it for,
drooling soup.
that it now supports?
So I just
That's right.
get
We've
it.
completely redesigned and rebuilt Shopify POS to make it extensible
I don't
for
need
that
help
future
looking like
of
I'm
retail
drooling.
today. And we've heard from a lot of retailers that this has become a very good time for them to upgrade the technology in their store and retrain the staff that they have while business is a bit slower in those physical spaces. So I want to show you here a demo of the all-new POS. And you can see
Show
it's
me.
very different from the old POS. Dark mode and a lot more.
I can't
We've
see that
added
'cause I
this
don't know
new
what the old
smart
one looked
grid
like.
feature that lets you customize and organize your
Do we have a forced
POS
tip at
to
the
work
end? That's what I
way
want to
you
know.
for your
Are you
business.
going to force
And
me
you
into?
even
Can I
embed
flip it
apps
around
into
and
it
force people to
so that
shame
you
them
can
into a tip at
customize
the
things
end?
like loyalty programs for your staff members to work with right
I'm telling
from
you,
that
the
smart grid.
POS
And then
part
there's
of
so
it,
much more and access to
when
the
people
rest
realize
of Shopify
how
right
connected
from
that
inside
can
this,
be and really
this
help them
tool.
out, particularly for the
Now,
mom
you
and
also
pop store.
mentioned staff. Now, I know one
This
of
is
the top
fantastic.
requested features for Shopify
We've recommended it
POS
for church
was
bookstores
better staff
to go on
control and
Shopify,
finding,
use just for the
permissions.
POS.
Are we
Even
able
if you're not going to sell
solve that feature
online,
this time?
use it for the POS
Exactly.
because
We've
it's
tried to
so
make it a
darn
lot
easy.
stronger, more
And use
flexible for you to
iPads.
control which staff members
Nice.
are
So,
able
I
to
mean,
do what inside
it's a
of
really
your
nice
store,
POS
inside of
system.
your locations. And those staff members can see that from inside of POS, and you can manage it right back from Shopify.
That's amazing. Now, retail is very different these days. It's a lot about contactless. It's a lot about buying.
I do like Shopify's kind of casual vibe. Like this guy's in a t-shirt. That guy's, he's wearing a
How does
hoodie.
the all-new Shopify point of sale? Let's start
I
with.
like their-
with
I think
curbside
Chris
pickup.
on
How
the
does it
left
support
is in the basement
Yeah,
of the
we're trying to do a
Yukon.
few new things
and,
to make it a lot easier.
they don't get
for
many
you to
clothing
adjust
choices
as
up
we
there.
reopen
They really
these
don't,
retail
so.
stores
No, I mean I'm not knocking
But
it.
it-
Seriously, I do
And the
like their
first thing
casual
is by
style.
bringing
Like
information
you'll see an
insight
Adobe
about
thing, and they're
what's
all,
happening in these retail
they're a
locations
little more
into your online
polished.
store.
But
Some of them
I,
mix
you know,
it.
I'm
I
not.
mean,
So
Buyers can look at
I
which
kind of miss
retail
wearing
locations
tie to
have
work
which
sometimes,
inventory
you know,
and what
but
fulfillment options are available to them.
no.
like curbside
I don't know.
I'm about to mute you.
And we think that'll help drive a lot more purchases in those local markets.
no, I think any guy that's making
So
$250K
now
a
I'll be
year
able to find, when I
should
go
have a
online
collar.
store, I can find
I'm
which
just
of the
saying.
stores that they
I
have
don't think so.
nearby.
I don't think
Actually,
the
have
income has
stock.
anything to do with what
Buy
you
them
wear.
online.
Matter of
Or
fact,
go
I
to
have
the
more
store.
respect for somebody that comes to work in a white
Sometimes
T-shirt and makes $250K a year. I got more respect for
you're
that guy
just playing-
because I
you're just
think
trying to
he's
keep
not
it
fooling
on,
people with what he's wearing. He really knows what the hell he's talking about.
Checkout itself can also be uniformly available.
Okay.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so we've had tap or contactless payments for quite some time, but it requires the Shopify tap and chip reader to happen, whether it's with a physical credit card or something like Apple Pay or Google
Yeah, they have
Pay.
been good about
But what
providing
we're
the
doing
hardware.
now is we're
not
using the
ripping
power of
people off on the
Shopify's
price on
online
people.
checkout to bring that to all buyers and all merchants in any situation. So a buyer will be able to scan a QR code from Shopify POS, and that will bring up Shopify's online checkout for them, where they can complete the checkout or use any online wallet like ShopPay itself to finish that in-person transaction. We
And
think
that's
that'll
where they'll
help
have the
cover
tip
everyone
enabled right
in
there.
any situation to have
That's
a more safe
interesting.
and trusted
That is
transaction
cool.
if they do happen to do that.
Well, I
in
think that
person.
tipping was a custom
in
app
other
that
words,
company
I
had
could
innovated.
actually
I don't think it's
buy
a default
something
feature.
using Shopify from
Gotcha.
my car.
I could be
just
wrong,
Scan the
but
QR
I
code.
think-
I
I
don't
don't
have to
think
have the
it's a
window
default
down.
feature.
I can just scan.
Maybe
the
our
QR
listeners
code, pay with
would
my
know
phone right
for
there,
sure.
and there's no physical touching of devices. Don't have to worry about germs or anything like that.
That's the
Exactly.
world we live
don't
in.
wanna make it
This
just
is the first time I've ever
faster.
heard an
Easy to buy from
e-commerce
Shopify
conference say we don't
anyway,
have to
but
worry
we wanna
about
make sure
germs.
it's safe
First
and
time.
flexible for you too. And so this is one of the ways that we can assure that everyone has an opportunity to do that.
Cool. Now, you also mentioned the tap and chip reader. Now, up until now, that's only been available in the United States. What are the plans for releasing that internationally?
Our team's been working really hard to bring these integrated payments.
Which is interesting because they had tap cards in Canada
just
before
last
they had
week
in
we
the
brought it to
US.
Canada with Interact Debit included, as well as the tap and chip reader. So later this year, we're going to bring that to the UK as well.
Everybody
So we're gonna
taps in
keep going
Canada.
to make sure that we can.
Well, I mean,
expand
you
Shopify
got to
to
worry
the
about
rest of the world.
germs if you tap, right?
That's amazing. So, again, I just really want to
No, you
encourage
don't.
all of our
Less
viewers
germs if you
that,
tap because you just take the
look at
card and
Shopify
tap
I
it
mean,
on the
still
thing.
less
has
germs,
I guess you
but
can
your
tap it.
card
Yeah, I
touched
guess-
something that everybody's tapped.
to really take this moment to
Well,
reevaluate
that's
it
true.
and
You're right.
and
I feel
see
like
if
that's
it
a
now
loophole.
That's why I
I
use
feel like
Apple Pay.
the right
I just
that's
use
how you're going
Apple
to get
Pay.
COVID
features,
right there.
for your business, because we really believe it's one of the best point of sale systems on the market, if not the best point of sale system on the market today.
I
To
use the
help
most
you do that,
germ-free
we've
thing
actually
ever,
got Shopify
cash.
POS
Yeah.
completely free until October.
Carry that around
Yeah,
in my
that's
sweaty
true.
pockets
You
and
can
just
Yeah,
hand it
that's
to
true.
people.
try it out,
Yeah.
test it in your business, or start that migration process while your store is still closed. And we hope that'll help you get started with us.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now we've talked about the online store, the retail store. Now, the challenge often for both online and offline is actually driving traffic to those stores. In the past couple of days, we've been announcing some of our partnerships that we've been working with the likes of Facebook and Google. And can you elaborate a little bit more? Can you give us a few more details on
Hear
what
about
we've been
Google.
working with those partners
Yes,
on? Because
let's
they're
hear
really
this.
experts at driving, consumer demand and traffic to both your online and your offline store.
They need to
Like you
improve the
said, if
Google
there's one
shopping.
thing Shopify's not short on, it's channels. And partners like Facebook, Google, Pinterest, Snapchat, eBay, and many others are integrated right from inside of Shopify so that you can expand the ways that you do business. Now, most recently, we've worked very closely with both Facebook and Google to bring exciting new shopping experiences to Shopify merchants everywhere. In the case of Google, merchants can now actually list their products on the shopping tab of Google search for no cost. And that's available in the US now and rolling out globally by the end of the year. So you can really improve the way that your products show up in Google search results. Whereas on Facebook, earlier this week, we announced a brand new Shops feature, which lets you put a small version of your online store right inside of Instagram and more, but synchronized exactly with your Shopify store. And both
Notice
of these
Big
become
Commerce said they
essential
were
ways for you to
a
help
partner
find
on
and
this
drive new
Facebook
traffic
store
and new
launch as well.
customers to
Well,
your business.
I saw the live
Okay,
stream.
so
I haven't
driving
watched
new
it yet,
traffic
or
and
the
customers to your business is
the thing
essential.
with Toby
But then
and
what
Zuckerberg.
happens when they come to your site? How do you?
A lot
how
of
do you help
platforms
them
were
communicate
listed,
with
but
those
curiously
customers?
not Magento.
We have two products. One
Yeah.
that was quite a surprise for people, which is email. The other one is Ping, which lets them chat. Can you tell us more about how we're thinking about our merchants should be communicating with their customers and how these new technologies and tools that we built can enable that?
We all know that there's nothing more important than that repeat customer and that lifetime relationship. And both of those products were built exactly for improving this and extending that lifetime value. So with Shopify Email, this is a really highly anticipated product that we were able to get into the market recently. And we've already seen over 30 million emails get sent from Shopify merchants using it.
So sorry, that number was 30 million?
30 million.
30. Okay, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so it's just become such an essential marketing tool available right from the heart
So
of
the
Shopify.
Shopify
that's
email
already
is,
driving
it's
so
a
much
nice
value
add-on for
all
SMBs
you
that
and
don't have an email solution yet, but it's like some things in Shopify, it doesn't have a lot of features. You still can't do multi-tiered abandoned shopping cart emails, that kind of stuff. It's basically just a newsletter tool, which is
Right.
okay, which is
Better
cool if
than
you don't
nothing,
already
kind
have-
of. It's a better than nothing
Yeah.
solution. Yeah.
It's better than nothing. It's free, as part of the platform. So you don't have to go out and buy MailChimp or something else. One of the ones that we liked, we reviewed recently that melds really well with Shopify is called Seguno, Seguno. I did a review on that one recently. And they're always improving that product. It's still not as full features as, say, MailChimp or Active Campaign, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it's really reasonably priced.
Adding to these capabilities with new customizations, new templates, and even more automation features later.
Okay, so in other words, coming soon to Shopify Email is automation, the ability for merchants to actually schedule things to happen automatically.
Exactly. And much like we did with POS Pro, we're making email completely free until October of this year, and we'll continue to have a free plan afterwards so everyone can get started with email.
That's amazing. And again, I would encourage our merchants to Go and try this out, as it is an entirely free product right now, and see if it works for your business. And if it doesn't, let us know. And if it does, send us your feedback as well. So, okay, that's email. What about something a little bit more real time? Let's talk about chat.
Yeah, you brought up Shopify Ping, which is our free messaging product for merchants that lets you talk to your customers in real time, pre or post purchase. And we know that it's more important than ever right now to have that personal connection and bridge that
It's
experience
extremely critical to have live chat on
So
e-commerce.
Ping has been available on
Right.
iPhone and iPad before, and we're now going to bring it to Android. And later this year, we plan to bring it to the web too, so that your whole team across all these platforms can be using chat to talk to your customers.
That's amazing. I mean, I have to admit, probably on a daily basis, when I go to an online store, my first question is, are they still open for business? Are they still shipping? And one of the first things I do is actually try and chat with them or send them an email just to confirm that. And so I think chat will really help.
I think he just
Funny,
wants
that's
to
his
chat
first
with
thought.
anybody.
My first thought is, I ordered some crap. Where's it at?
Earlier, use
And then I look for chat. Like I never look for chat and say, are they open? I guess I'm not. I don't know. I'm not as nice as he is. I'm just like, hey, they're open. I ordered some stuff. It's been 40 days. Where's it at?
Hey, we just ordered a exercise machine because you can look at me and know I need it. And I had a question about the delivery, and so I go online. I go to live chat. I'm like, 38th in the queue, and I wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and it comes because they said if you have any questions about your order, click here for live chat. So finally it gets there, and I said, "Hey, I have a question about my order. You didn't put my town home unit number on the form, the email I got. It just shows the street address. How can I get that added?" Now this is after waiting an hour and a half to get live chat,
Right.
and they say, "Oh, you need to call this toll-free number between 9 and 5, and here it was 6 p.m."
I have to admit, we've gone pretty far into the live stream. I think we're well
Might as well not have chat.
and we haven't talked about
Might as
It'd have
well
been
not
better
have
off
it.
just
If
to
you
give you the
call
number.
people,
Yeah.
call everyone. That's
That's a
right.
good point. If your chat people have no authority, then you probably don't need to have chat.
Empower them to get do whatever it takes to satisfy the customer's desire. Because otherwise, I mean, you could get a customer that has great social influence that could just trash the hell out of you, or they're going to write a review about the product that's going to be trashy too. So, we try to empower our folks to do whatever's necessary within reason. They can't give away our firstborn, but customers aren't unreasonable. They just want to get what they expected to get when they buy. That's all.
Yep. Better have a good return policy when Brett realizes he's not going to use that exercise machine too.
Yeah, we checked on that right away.
And personalized recommendations from those stores. And then they can go and track all of the orders that they're getting, so they know when that doorbell rings exactly what package is outside.
Yeah, I've got to admit, during this live stream, it's actually vibrated twice for me, both times. Shopify merchants. So I absolutely love that.
I don't believe this is live
lets
at all.
Consumers track their packages as well as re-engage with some of the existing
I mean,
brands.
they're really good at it. They probably spent last
Let's
month
talk about
rehearsing.
Shopify merchants, though. What's the reaction been amongst Shopify merchants?
I mean, you could do it if you were.
Our real goal
if you
here
were-
is to bring
but why?
merchants closer to
Like
their
that's
own
the question.
customers.
Why
That's
do
what's
it
so
live?
different between Shop and any traditional marketplace or
Right,
advertising
exactly.
platform.
You're
We
not
know
really
that
interacting.
buyers want to be in touch with the brands that they love and support the brands in their community.
It's not like we
we'll
could have
never
phoned this
compete with
in.
our merchants the
Well,
way
this,
some others
yeah,
do.
well, this,
We want to
yeah,
put their
this
brands
way
first
legal
and
gets
make
to
them
review
more
it all
successful.
before it goes out.
So we're going to start to invest in ways
That's it,
that let
yeah, that's
our
right.
merchants customize the
Although
way Shop
I'll
works
admit,
for
I
them.
don't think Shopify has ever
That's
much
amazing.
used their legal
Okay, so
requirement from.
when you talk
I mean,
about customized
they
help,
were
what are we talking about?
they were criticized about
So
a year or
I'm
two
really
ago
excited
for
today to announce
they had
that
this
we plan
campaign
to
going on
release
that
a
you
new Shop
one
channel.
start a store in
That's
30
the old
minutes
channel, the Shop
and
channel.
Yeah, I remember that.
You as a
selling in
merchant
30 minutes, all that kind of stuff. And
exactly how your
the
brand
FTC
shows up on
didn't
Shop,
didn't
the
come
ways
down
that
on
you
them,
wanna
but
be involved.
the
So
Wall
here
Street
you can
did.
see that you'll be able to
And they kind of
customize
backed
your
away
shop
from that
profile
because
to
I got
better
some
tell
calls
your
from
story
some
and
investor
customize where
groups,
and how you
asking
show up in
about
the Shop
that. And I
app
said,
itself.
they said,
We're
"Is
gonna
that
keep
true?
adding
Can you do
more
that?"
and
I said,
releasing more
"Well,
marketing features into this
technically,
channel.
yeah, I can turn on a Shopify
That's
store in 30
amazing. So
minutes."
you can imagine
But to
long-term,
load products,
Shop will
get the
really be a
shipping
great way
configured,
for,
test it
our
out,
merchants
get
to
the
actually
outgoing
re-engage with
emails
their customers
configured, all
time
that
and
kind of
time
stuff. Will they make it
Yeah,
easy?
so
It would
inside
be
of
really,
Shopify,
really
whether
fight to
it's
do
the
that.
online store, point
Well, I
of
mean, I
sale,
think
And,
all the
these
e-commerce
essential
platforms are
places
guilty of
where
that
you
to some
start
degree.
and
That
grow your brand,
have
model
truth.
Oh, yeah.
person, and
It's
now-
true.
Yeah.
Is it going to work that way for you? No.
Makes it so
But
powerful for merchants.
in an ideal world, theoretically, if you're selling one product and you don't want a custom design, you could be up in 30 minutes.
Well, thanks so much, Satish.
That's right.
We've gone over a lot of great stuff, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
Later.
Yeah, 16 million sounds like a lot, but if
we're
you've
back
ever
here.
used, I think, Shop Pay,
Not the
before
guitar
this,
lady.
and then now Shop, like it's actually
Got it, Brian.
pretty
I've got it.
self-explanatory
Guitar
why
lady.
it's so
Missed that.
successful. It
Missed
is
that.
just so.
Brian
so
better
easy
not
to
give me any
use,
grief about it in the
especially
chat.
now. But I know
Not the
in
guitar
the
lady.
app you can actually see trees you've saved from buying things, which is great. And I think like there's a little competition around how big everyone's forest can be inside of Shopify. I think, Craig, you're like at 6 last time I checked or something.
No. I'm at 9 right now. I've got
You're
9
at that.
trees.
Wow.
Can you
Okay.
see the forest for the
that
trees?
I have helped protect as I've been using. Again, I do a lot of shopping online, and I use Shop for a lot of it. So again, just to clarify, if you use Shop Pay and you place an order using Shop Pay, the shipment is carbon neutral. And so we actually work with a partner to go out and protect trees to reduce the carbon impact otherwise from that shipment.
I've got a lot of trees. I'm thinking about cutting them all down and burning
It's
them.
definitely not very well advertised, but it's one of my favorite little things that we added to
Bonfire.
Shop.
Good old. It's time for a good old
Yeah, it's one of those
bonfire.
special little touches. Okay, well, we've talked a lot about kind of like the front of store. We talked about the financing, online store, point of sale, a bunch of channels. But
What
I
is
know
that tiny
for
ass
those of
door
you who
behind
are
her?
Watching right now, a lot of you
That's her
folks
escape
spend
hatch.
most
Under
of
the
your
TV,
time
like that's-
actually
it's
in
like a
what we
little-
call the back office here at
I
Shopify,
really want to know what that.
which is essentially where you manage your products, where you manage your orders.
I've always wanted a
So
tiny
to
little
talk
door
about
under
how
my
we're actually
TV.
going to make that better, I'd love to bring in Lindsay Thornton. Lindsay, welcome.
That's where the little gremlins
Hi,
go
Vanessa.
to show
Thanks
up
for
on the
having me.
TV screen.
Great
You
to
know those
have you,
little
Lindsay.
people
How are you
back
doing?
there?
I'm sure
pretty
that's
good.
like
Pretty good.
that's $1 billion apartment
Amazing.
in
Okay, so
Toronto or something.
I just kind of explained a
And
little
so
bit
they had to
about
make
what,
use
what
of
we
every
mean
bit
by
of
when we
space.
say back office here at
Only
Shopify,
storage
but
she
I
has.
know kind of like the trend
That's it.
about what we try and do with that area time and time again every year over year is how can we make it more efficient for you to manage your business in those activities. So can you share kind of like what we're doing this year to make sure everybody is as efficient and productive as they could be?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much that we're working on at the moment. So let's start with 3 big pieces that do make up the chunk of where merchants spend the majority of their time in Shopify: products, inventory, and orders. So if we start with products, that is where merchants tell us they spend most of their time. One of the most time-consuming tasks that exist is actually getting your products into Shopify and managing them. So there's a couple of things that we're focused on here. Back towards the start of the pandemic, I was spending some time talking to merchants, not in
I don't
their,
think that's
in
a
their
Canadian
physical spaces,
accent.
but digitally, about how they were thinking about getting their stores online. And for many of
What
them,
is
you
it,
know, we've
Irish?
touched on this a little bit. It's not that it never occurred to them. It just felt like more work than
I believe
the value
so.
that was going to be
But I'm sure
created
some of
for
our
them.
listeners
And
may
part
be
of
able to
that
tell me
was
a little
the
better.
apprehension about the time
Sometimes
it was gonna take
Irish,
to get
Scottish
all of
gets
their
a,
huge product
Scottish is
sets
a little
online.
over the top.
So that's a problem that we took really seriously, and we've gone back and we've completely revisited
I would say Irish.
how we want to upload products into Shopify.
So that
And we've
brings up a
created
good question.
fast ad.
So why don't you drink
So what that
Jameson?
looks like, let's pull this up. So
Yeah, I mean, I have a bottle of Jameson over there.
Okay.
You know, there is a similarity to the spelling, but I'm not a huge fan of Scotch. I'm not. It's my fault. Before anybody out there gets offended, I'm not sophisticated enough for Scotch, so I just stick to good old bourbons. I've got about 35 bottles in stock behind me, and out of those 35. There's a couple of single malts, so maybe 3 scotches and 32 whiskeys, bourbons, rye, things like that.
Which we know a lot of merchants don't really want to do. You know, we see merchants
Just more my
spend
style.
Anywhere
I don't know.
between 2 and 7 goes.
I guess probably one of those
to
things where you
getting the
just,
product
you know,
information
what
the
you
way
grew up
want it.
drinking.
Because
you
we
know,
all know
since I was
a
3.
really
No, I'm
good
just
product
picking at
page
it.
is the difference often between making a sale and not.
It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. I don't know. I don't like the the
And so
kind of
that means
peaty,
creating
smoky
draft
flavor
stage, and in the future
of
also
scotch for the
creating
most part.
archive
Every once in a while I'll have a good one. I was
so
like,
that
okay,
you
that's
will be able
good.
to manage your
But then it's
business
like
a lot more
ridiculously
specifically.
expensive.
You
Like
can
they,
hand those
you know,
products
everything
Well, that's the
is
thing.
way
You can't get a
overpriced.
good one
help them
unless
fill in the gaps.
you can't get a good one unless you
And then
just
when you're
pay a
done with
fortune.
those products,
Yeah, and you can get a good bourbon for
bottom
$30 or
line
$40.
that allows
You can
to
get a
manage
great
your
bourbon
products
for
in a
$70 or
much more
$80.
organized way.
And then there's a
And this
few
is
that are
what I've done,
ridiculous, but I
particularly
just
for
avoid
people
those.
who run very large product sets where the product pages can just become totally overwhelming.
Yeah, because I know one thing. I've met a merchant recently, and they're a small merchant. They don't have a ton of staff, but the staff that they do, they already, even in this small, I think they had a team of 10.
Neil's in the chat says,
3 of
sounds
them
more like
were all
UK
doing
than
product
Irish.
uploading activities. Whether
I
it's
didn't
the
hear it. Maybe I
one
wasn't.
person
I mean,
was
we were
editing
talking.
the images,
I don't think so.
editing,
I think
getting
you're.
it up.
I
Another
think you're
one
off on
was,
that, Neil.
really optimizing the description, and someone else was managing the keywords.
Brian says she's the
and
grown-up
SEO. So like states
Merida from the
really
movie
allows them
Brave.
to work on something in draft together.
Okay.
Brave
and
or
then
Brave?
publish it
I
when
didn't say.
it's- when
I
it's
didn't
ready
say
for their
Brave,
Brave,
job.
like
that's
it's a
So
cartoon. I haven't
that's
seen
something
it.
That's super impactful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Disney
that's
version.
exactly right.
Yeah, and then archives. You're the one actually who told
Brian
me
says
that
he loves the
people
accent.
have to
I agree.
keep
It's a great
around
accent. I wished I
tons
had a
of
great
products,
accent.
even if they've been delisted.
You know, some
from
accents
their
just give
online
you
store,
IQ
just to make
points,
sure
some
that the
take
data
away.
isn't lost. So
I
that
instantly
must mean
lose 10
tons
IQ
and
points
tons
every
of
time I open
just
my mouth.
reading through products that are actually no longer on their online store actively.
Yeah, exactly. And particularly if you're the type of merchant who cycles through a lot of product, that can just get out of hand really quickly.
Yeah, and
So
So-
we think
Gets
there's
out of
better
hand
things that you
really
can spend your
quickly.
time doing.
Really
And so that's
quickly.
like thematically, you're going to see this across everything else we talked about
Thematically,
today as well.
it gets out of hand
Particularly for
really
back office,
quickly.
The theme really is
I love it.
personalization
Great
and
accent.
flexibility.
I
So
wished I had
allowing
that
you
one.
to
I should
work
work on it.
with
sorry,
the
I just
type
think
of
she's
products that
drinking
you want to
Guinness
upload.
tonight.
Like
I
in the
just
future, we
want-
even hope to have things like templates where you can set the basics for the type of product so that you can add them really fast in the future.
Ooh, templates.
Also looking at important things like price by measure, trying to work out what would that mean to businesses now that we're starting to see more businesses like groceries and people who sell items by weight, for example, come onto Shopify using non-standard quantities. So what will that look like? All of these things the team is exploring at the moment, but you will see very quickly some of those fast ads come to market. We're hoping June, July, we'll get some of those out. Product states will come afterwards. And soon after that, you'll start to see some of those other explorations. But rest assured, we are doing all we can at the moment to focus on making product addition and management.
I mean, the one
extremely
thing
fast.
Shopify has
Yeah,
is they've got the
I know,
money and
like,
the
products is one area
and
people
the
spend
number
a
of
ton of time on 'cause,
people
you know, it's a craft
to continue to
putting
innovate at a
together
pretty high
really
level.
good product page.
And I think
But of
that's
course,
been one
once
of the
you get
challenges Big
those
Commerce
orders,
has. They don't have
I think you told me
nearly the
most
size team or the
page
capital.
in Shopify
Right.
is
Although I think
the
they do
orders
well
details
within the
page.
scope of what they have.
Yeah, that's right.
I
yeah.
just don't seem to be able to match
1.1
that.
billion views
And,
in the last year.
I think Magento
And
can,
that's
but just
great. I mean,
because
that
they've
means
got
orders are
Adobe
coming
muscle
in.
now.
However,
But Adobe's
that's actually
got
not
a lot of work to do
where
still.
we want you to be
to,
spending the bulk of your time. So let's take a quick
You know,
look
to bring
at this.
M2 up to
Here is
a
the
really
what we call
rarefied
the
state,
order
I
index
think,
page.
particularly
It's
in
the
their hosting.
overview of all of your orders. And up
Yeah,
until a couple of
as far as
weeks
big
ago,
commerce
the
goes,
information that
hard to
was there
disagree
was
with
pretty much
that. You know,
just
as far
enough
as like
to
compared to
give you a
Shopify,
jumping off
I
point.
really
Help you
like their
identify what
vision for the
order to
platform,
dig
though.
into.
You know, kind of
And
that
then you
open
would go in there
SaaS.
and do your work.
I think that's a
we
great
think there's a
market
better
to
way.
be in for
And
them. Like
we've
they're never going to
completely
have the sheer
redesigned the
volume
index, and we've
of
started to
merchants that a
release this a couple of
Shopify
weeks
has,
ago.
but you don't
We're making
need the
changes
sheer
on
volume of
almost a
merchants.
weekly basis now
If
to
you're
make this better.
the
But
slightly
the
more
vision for
flexible
this is
alternative,
that we
I
actually
think
want
it's
you to be
right,
able
but
to work
I mean,
from the
you're right in
order
that.
index, not only
You know,
use
money
this as a
money
benchmark.
tends to win when it comes to
And
things
so
like
if we
that.
look at this now, you can
Well,
see
the
that
things
you
that I
can
see happening
identify
on Big Commerce
information
that
about
just
the
cause a little
customer, a couple
consternation.
of
We
pieces of information about the order,
we did a client
so that
recently
you
where
don't
we
have
used
to
the
always
WordPress
go into the
plugin,
order details page
you know, as
to
a
get
headless
that
e-commerce
that
for
you
them.
want. Now, in
And the
future,
syncing
we'll
issues
also
were
have
just
more ways to customize
horrendous.
this
And
for your
we
exact
fought for
order
that for like
form,
6
depending on
months
who you
before
are
they
in the
finally
business and
got
the
it
type of
fixed for
job that
us.
you do.
And that
So
was
you'll be able to
upsetting
group
to our
orders
client.
by things
Right,
like local
particularly.
delivery or delivery
But
method.
on a broader scale,
and
you know,
much more to
I
come.
watch the big commerce Facebook group, just like I do the
Amazing. So
Shopify and
there's
others.
kind of orders, but I
And
know
there just seems to be
orders
about once a
affects
week somebody
inventory.
talking about
And
how
inventory is a
the
journey
shopping, the
we've been
checkout
on
is
at
failing,
Shopify
or
for quite a while to make
cookies
sure,
aren't
hey, your
writing
inventory
correctly,
is
and those kinds of
accurate in
things. It's like
Shopify. It
they have
affects,
great
you know,
ambition.
what shows up in your
They
online
need to
store
turn up
when
their
you fulfill
execution
an order.
notch
It's
a little
important.
bit,
It
and
decrements
I
for
think
your
they could
inventory.
get there.
What are we doing around inventory?
And it's something I've voiced to them. They're actually
as accurate
Their office headquarters is just 10 minutes away from me.
That's a great
So
question.
I've been over there a
Yeah,
few times
inventory
to
is
talk to
another
them.
one of our of
And I like
segments
them,
where
and they're
we
well-meaning.
know we could do a
And
better job at helping merchants with both accuracy
but
and
their
efficiency.
execution needs to be
So
just a little bit
here's what we've
tighter, I
done.
think.
A couple of weeks ago, we released our first version of.
And I think they could really
So that means that you
take
can
over the
order
B2B
from,
marketplace,
your
that
suppliers,
mid-level
track,
B2B.
and then you can use your mobile
Um,
phone to actually receive that.
But out of the
It's
gate,
all live
to
for
get
you.
that kind of multi-tiered
We've also
pricing
released
is
a new
still,
set of
minimum
inventory
$800 a
that
month
include
on a 1 year
cost,
with a
so
1 year
that you can
contract.
understand the
Everything at
amazing
Shopify
value
is
have
month to
and
month.
rather the value
So
of
I think they need to
inventory that you
bring
have
that down a little bit, make it a little more
often that can
accessible.
be
I would say around the
Amazon's largest
$300 to $500 a month range for a
liability. So
B2B.
it's really important that
Get
you
the
know
B2B
and understand
installed
what
in
it's
it. You could
selling,
hold
what
back
you
a,
need
a
more
couple
of,
of features if you
the
needed
full
to,
value
or
of
base
the
it on
investment
volume level.
invested in that
But I think
inventory to date.
they
We've
need to
also
be the
included some
entry
important
point
gift
for up
cards
and
so
coming
you can also
B2B to
see
get
the
online
value of
rather than waiting
that
for the
investment
developed
in
B2B to
the store
adopt
too.
them. And I think
So
that would be a good
those are
thing.
some of the updates
Agreed.
on inventory. There'll be lots more to
Now, this
come
has been
here.
going for about an
Rest
hour.
assured
I
that
only
we're
had it on my
working
calendar
on
for an hour. I thought it was an
improving
hour
that cycle
stream.
of inventory.
And
They
if this
just
is
talked about an hour stream. So
Yeah, I
if
think
this
for
is
just
the
a
end
Yeah,
of
I'm
it,
gonna-
I've been a little
it's almost-
underwhelmed.
It sounds simple, but
Yeah.
it is actually such a huge.
I was expecting fireworks
huge
here.
influx on like the growth of Shopify's system, like what you can store in Shopify now. Not just hey, what's going to be on my online store, what's going to be available in point of sale, but also active records of where is my inventory, even if they're not on my online
yeah,
store
I may
yet,
have
what's
to bail
coming
here
in.
on you,
Also,
my
like
friend.
what
I'm
is
sorry,
cost.
but
I think
I had
one
an
thing we
hour
talk a lot
allotted.
about
You know?
inside of Shopify
Yeah, if
is
you
how
gotta
we
go, man, that's
represent
fine.
so much more than
Yeah.
just your online presence or whatever channel you're
Just
selling
let
through.
me know
We're
whenever you
actually
need
the
to drop.
heart of your business. We actually
I
have
will.
so much information around how your business is operating. We work really hard to make sure that stays.
Hey, see, they leave me
accurate
with
and
these
that
dilemmas
stays,
like, do I fix another
as
drink or do I not
efficient
fix
to
another
manage
drink? I
as
don't
possible.
know
Yeah,
what I'm
totally. I mean,
supposed
You
to
need to
do
fix
here,
another drink.
Shopify.
the
You need to fix another drink
realities
regardless.
of running a business
Okay,
today. And
okay.
you know, one other small piece that we have there that's pretty important is, you know, after you get that order and you get that fulfilled and it's sent out, a couple of things might occur. You might get a change to that order. The buyer may change
Let me
their
go check on
mind.
something real quick. I'll be
Earlier,
back in 30
last
seconds.
year
All right.
and earlier this year, we've been constantly releasing additions to order editing, which makes it possible for you to go back after the fact and alter that order, sometimes add more items in, alter various aspects, etc. And that's been fantastic. The second part is sometimes the buyer still wants to return that item after the fact, and we're releasing a new workflow in Shopify later this year, which will allow you to do that end to end, all in Shopify. So that's, you know, process the actual return label, that's send out branded buyer notifications, and it's manage the receiving of that inventory and the retracking of that in your stock and your inventory as it comes back in.
Yeah, so tied to inventory, but actually, you know, returns is so interesting because it's actually, if you've ever returned anything, which I'm sure all of us have at some point.
Yes.
Returned a lot of things, but returns is actually it's not just, oh, something went wrong. It's actually such a great moment for you to provide a really good customer experience so
Yes.
that customer continues to come back over and over again.
Exactly. I think what we see again and again with the type of businesses that run their stores on Shopify is that they really do care about customer experience. And, you know, I've had some already fantastic returns processes with Shopify merchants that have made me a customer for life. And we want to make it possible for every merchant to offer that
I
type
gotta
of
push
great
back, so
experience to their customers.
You see what
That's
more
just
exciting
key for
things
us. So
this
the more
Irish
we
lass
can help
has for
merchants do that, the better.
I thought that was a
And
Connect 4
already by
board she had
default
in the
in
window.
Shopify without you having
For a
to do
second
anything,
there,
which is
I always
awesome.
am curious by the selection, like
Okay,
what
great.
is my backdrop
So
going to be? So what does the
that's
rest
a
of her
lot
place
coming
look
from
like?
back office
If
in
she
the next
decided to
6
sit
months.
right in
Thanks so
front of a
much, Lindsay.
window, or if I decide to like green screen out a black screen,
So products,
like what does her place look
orders,
like this? Like
inventory,
what
customers,
does this place look
Exactly,
like?
yeah.
I'm
You're starting to
curious
see
now,
that
right?
You don't have
Like
that
he-
much black space in a basement anyway.
well,
so,
it's
yeah.
obvious.
And
It's
again, I think
it
that's
looks
something
green
that-
screen to
Green
me, and he just went
understand that
black
requires a lot of trust.
instead of
And
like
I think
wall.
that
But
we,
it's like
we have earned
you had to
the
put
trust
effort
by
into
building
green
these
screening
types
that
of
out.
features. And you
He's
know,
got good
these are the
backlight, though.
things
He's
that
got
we're
a nice
looking at
kick
when we
light
think
on
about
him.
Shopify,
I'm
because
telling you, this has been
we are
edited.
really the first thing that you'll log into in the morning, and the last thing.
I'm
you'll
super
log
impressed
into
if it's
at
live,
the
but
end of
it's
the
not
day.
live.
Well, I would
100%.
agree with you because you
So-
don't, and not in one of these
Vanessa,
have you seen some
think back about
kid
the
or
first thing you ever bought
spouse
online.
open the door
Do you
accidentally
remember what
come
it was?
in You go, whoops.
Pretty sure.
Well, or not even just
it
a
was
mess
like
up
a
and them
book
have to like
for
reset.
class or something.
Okay, yeah, for university. Now, I remember the thing about buying online. The thing that I remembered was just the infinite selection, because suddenly you can buy from anywhere in the world, right? I think that was the thing that was just so mind-blowing to me. It was just, there was everything out there. But as I think about my most recent purchases, increasingly they're actually a lot more local. Sure, I can buy from far away, but the idea of actually purchasing online from someone that I could actually probably drive to is just becoming more and more common. And so for our next guest, we're going to bring on Thea, who actually is thinking and working about our local delivery and local fulfillment options. Hey, Thea.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
Let's talk about
thanks
this.
for having me. I love any opportunity to
Yeah, I
talk
think
about
this
shipping.
is a big game changer. I think
Yeah,
for
so-
Shopify.
So
This could
first,
be.
maybe
I
let's
mean,
talk
especially
about
it's a
curbside
good-
pickup, because it's been mentioned.
It's a
few
good
times
competitor
today.
with FBA.
And
Well, this is
we've
pretty
been working
easy
on
to
this,
do in every
especially,
platform with
more recently,
one
because we've been seeing some interesting
one
data,
location.
right? That's showing
You start hitting
more and
multiple
more
locations,
are
it gets
actually,
complicated.
Opting
Yeah.
into this, and then more and more consumers are opting.
I
into
know.
this
I
as
tried to
well,
pick up
You bet. So,
tequila,
looking at the
online.
data, you're looking at
and you can't get it delivered in
mid-March
Texas. You have
to
to go
end of
pick it
April,
up.
so
And
that's
just
6
getting
weeks
the multiple
span.
locations
And
and
we
get that
compared it
nailed
to
right,
the
that was
previous 6
horrendous.
weeks, and local orders were
But
up
I persevered.
176%.
I had to
It's
get it,
mind
so,
blowing. It's awesome to see, that local support. It's also a testament to say it's a quick and sure way to actually get your order.
I don't
in
think
timely
that
fashion,
ottoman's
as,
useful over
there
there in the
have been
corner
delays
blocking
recently
the
in the past.
door. Like I'm just
Yeah, I mean,
saying.
absolutely. I know
I
when I'm
don't.
buying
She
sometimes
didn't
I'm
quite.
wondering,
She tried to slide it out of the frame, didn't
how
quite
long
make
will
it.
it actually take? Whereas from my local merchants, I kind of feel that there's a very good chance.
From the looks of it, I'd
that
hide it too.
happens probably within 24 hours.
Nah.
Totally.
Not-
So we've
not-
been working on
that's not a
two
great
exciting
plan for
things.
me.
You already
Hey, that's
hinted
our
at one
Wayfair
of them.
purchase.
So
Are they on
curbside
Shopify?
pickup.
This is
Curbside
so.
pickup
Is this a living room or an office? Because she's got a
Target is
big
already
printer
live.
on the
So
left and a sofa on the
now in your
right.
shipping
And,
settings
you know,
or any
This is
store
used to be a living room.
globally
Now it's an
that has
office.
less
It's a
than 20
COVID office.
locations, you can already enable
COVID
local
office.
pickup. So
Yeah,
you can
she
add
put
your
a
own
dry erase
instructions.
board behind her.
But what's
I don't know. It's a nice
awesome
room though. Like
coming over
she's
the
got
next
one of
few
the nicer
weeks
rooms.
is more functionality. So like
She
the
really does. She
ability
looks like
to-
she's actually
for
doing
the
work as
consumer
well
to
as
tell you when they want
having
to schedule
the
their
opportunity to
pickup.
chill.
Yeah.
There's also
Like her
coming a feature
Shopify
that they can
sweater.
let you know as soon as they've arrived outside.
Rocking the
they can send you a
headphones.
ping,
She
ready for pick up my order. So
she
there's
spent all of her money on this
minimal
apartment. She
waiting
couldn't have
involved.
put forward like the wireless
And of
AirPods.
course, like it just helps with physical distancing and making that experience so much seamless.
That's
We
amazing.
pick,
Okay, so
we
this,
kid,
you said it's already available right
you
now.
know.
It's under shipping settings.
I'm
and
probably
you
going
can
to get some
configure,
flack for we
the
pick on
different stores
folks
or
a little
different
bit.
locations. How does that work?
Exactly. So
It's
They put
okay. I
themselves
got
out there.
pickup.
I've got wired
settings
headphones
live,
too, so
but
it's
all
it's
the
all
extra
good.
bells and whistles like
Reliable.
the scheduling. It's coming soon. So keep an eye out, LP, in the next few weeks.
Okay, so that's amazing for those consumers that are looking to go actually to the store and pick up the items from there. But what about those of us that are a little bit lazy, that like getting their items dropped off at their door? Maybe because they're doing a live stream, for example. What are we doing for local deliveries?
Like us.
So
yeah.
local delivery, I'm so jazzed to tell you about it. We're in the middle of rolling it out to all shops, global feature.
Wow.
And so what this means is, store owners
Curbside
like yourself,
pickup.
or
Apparently,
perhaps you want to
Big
have
Commerce had a.
to your staff.
There's a
you
recent
can
buy
actually
online
go
pickup,
and
BOPIS buy
deliver
online pickup in
orders
store
within a
drop on
vicinity
Big
that
Commerce
you
as
would
well.
like to do. So
I'll have
this way
to
you can
look
take it into
that
your
up.
hands. I was speaking with
Robert
a
mentioning
florist
great
the other
differentiating
day,
on
and
B2B.
She was so excited about this coming up because flowers are super fragile. You don't want to maybe hand it off. to
Amir
another
wants to
courier.
catch up with
wanna
you
take care
afterwards,
of it
Brett.
yourself.
Amir, if you watch to the end,
so
I'll get you his contact
as,
info.
This is coming out, and it'll also
Or if
be in
you
the
know
shipping
some,
settings.
somehow
Sure,
you don't
you bet.
connect, just
Do you want
ping
to tell
me.
you all about how to set it up?
Absolutely. Show me more.
Here
Okay,
you can,
all right, here we go. So once you're in your shipping settings, you can decide if you want to ship
you
to
go to the
certain
website
zip
there,
codes,
there's contact
or
form. You can
postal
just
codes
contact me
Canadian.
through that. We'll connect.
Or if you don't want to be
Be
that
glad to.
detailed, you can just set a radius. So say, I'm going to deliver to 10 miles or 10 kilometers. You can choose that. And then that way, the
That's pretty
buyers
cool.
that are eligible at checkout,
That's
they'll
local
see that
delivery
option.
is a
But anyone
standard
who's not
feature. That's a
eligible
game
won't.
changer.
won't see it.
Interesting. Yeah, for sure.
And what's also really cool
They
is that
incorporated
as a buyer,
a while
you can
back the
leave
ability that
notes.
when people check out, they can either give a
for the
email address
delivery driver
or a phone
like,
number to get
ring the
SMS
doorbell, leave the
updates to the
doorstep, or
tracking.
beware of my
You as the
barking
merchant have a
dog, he's
choice as
actually
to whether or
really
not to
friendly.
allow either or.
Is that for me?
But we've had some
Yeah,
merchants where
me too, though.
they'll go ahead and
Charlie
reply
Brown
the email
is
address,
quite
but
loud,
people
so
can still enter a phone number and
but
get an
the other
SMS
thing
update.
that's really cool, so that's the shipping settings part.
Which is kind of cool.
There's
So-
also
Well, I mean,
an
email would die as the standard login for e-commerce if we would let it.
you to from the order index page
Yes,
that
yeah,
Lindsay was just
yeah.
describing. You can pull all of your local
But if you don't get
orders.
that email address, you can't
can
do an
then,
abandoned cart. You can't do
decide,
follow-ups. You
the
can't do that
route
kind of
that you're going
stuff.
to
And
take.
so one of the
it'll
things that's
optimize your route.
well, most
within the
commerce
city,
platforms like
and
this,
then
the
you can
first thing
also
people
let
enter
your
is their
customers
email
know
address.
when you're on the way.
Yeah,
So,
but that's that's
on
benefit to the
way,
merchant,
or
not benefit to the
delivery is
customer.
successful.
Sooner or later, folks will be like, hey,
It's gonna be
you know,
handled
it is what it
in
is.
the
Let's
app,
go with
and
it.
It's totally free.
I love. I've had customers when we have our stores have said, "Oh, I don't have an email address."
So
I
just
go,
to recap,
"Wait, you're on the internet and you don't have an email address?"
available now.
Yeah, I don't think so. But
Well, I
understand
mean,
you
it's
don't wanna
possible. I have. I mean, my
And then
my
third,
kids,
we'll
the
be
older
in
ones,
the
they've
middle of rolling out, so
they've barely. I know
store if you don't already.
20-something-year-olds who've never used a computer.
Thanks so much.
Like they've always used a phone.
It's going to be great, especially
They don't
Right.
do email.
Well,
Like unless they have a job that requires it, they don't do email.
bought some flowers.
Right.
Mother's Day was recently, and,
But they haven't.
And I think that could have been really useful
Maybe,
for
but they
Shopify
don't use
merchants
it.
that I
Like they
bought.
may,
So I
but
can't wait
if
for
they
them to
may
do it.
have one and may use it now, the next generation won't
So
and
Vanessa-
won't.
That's amazing. Yeah. Hey.
We're not
I don't know
done
about
talking
you.
about shipping yet, are we?
No. I mean, we're always talking about how we get packages, and it's
can
great that
see
we're
where
doing all
people
this
are
stuff for local
using
delivery. I know for
the
me, I
Twitter
saw
handles, so
a
they-
store owner that I
to get direct
know
messages
for years and have bought from for years actually take it into his own hands and do some of those
from the
deliveries.
from a vendor. What if you
with
went to a
his
store and
staff
instead of giving an
last
email
week,
address,
so
you gave a
it's
Twitter
great
handle, and
doing that.
that's how they
But
sent you
not
tracking
everyone
information?
is just
But I mean,
buying
again,
local.
everybody
There
has to
are
have
also
Twitter.
also
You know, you have to have
buy
choices
No, I
at
don't
that
mean
point.
that. I mean
down the
just as
street.
an option. Just an option.
Right.
If you
Those
didn't
Yeah.
want to
packages
use your
have to get
email,
shipped.
and you had a
So
Twitter
for
handle, if you
those,
could use that.
I would love
Very
to bring
possible.
on our Chief Technology
Or any
Officer,
platform for that
Jean-Michel,
matter.
to talk about what we've been doing with Shopify Fulfillment Network. Welcome, JML.
Hey Vanessa, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Now, I was thinking about all of you talking about all the packages that show up at your door, and I was like, I don't know if this is taboo or not, but I actually don't shop that often. But when I do, those few packages that show up, I want them to show up fast. So maybe that's
I'm a
good
high-ranking
segue
person
into
at Shopify.
kinda
I
what-
don't shop
what I wanted to
online.
talk
I
about
hate
now,
it.
which
I
is,
live in a cabin in the woods.
You know, it's our almost 1 year anniversary of talking about the Shopify Fulfillment Network that we announced last June. So it's only been 11 months, and we've been really busy. So when
He's
we
got a
announced
Baby
it,
Yoda in the background.
it was about an early access program.
Product
in June.
placement.
We wanted to get a couple dozen merchants out of the platform to test onboarding,
Where's this
and
baby
also to
at?
get ready for the busy season and make sure that we can scale and have a really good shopping experience during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holidays. So the good news is, we got a bunch of merchants on. We had a great holiday season, and the team's been really busy. Making sure the feature, there's new features added and enhancements, and we also spun up 5 new warehouses as part of that as well. So I think we've in 11 months we went from announcements to actually having live packages and to actually taking off the label of early access, and it's we're kind of open for business now.
Yeah, hold on. Like we said, we'll take the label off of the early access, but let's describe the thing we just took the label off of. So for those who don't
Early
know,
access. It's
what
like
is
I figured
Shopify
they would
Fulfillment
probably be
Network?
like
Why should they
Fortnite.
care? Why should they
Fortnite's
be
been
excited?
early access
So
for
our
3
vision
years
around this
now.
is
By
we
the time
wanna take the
by the time they rip the early
complexity
access label off
for all of our
Fortnite,
merchants, and we
nobody
wanna
will be
make sure
playing
everyone
it.
has the availability to have 2-day shipping anywhere on the planet, right? So even for people like me who don't shop a lot,
I
when you
think it's
do,
marketing play.
speed kind of matters.
Probably.
I think you keep early
And
access
also,
on there so
we
everybody
realize
thinks
that
they're
for merchants,
Yeah,
as Lindsay was talking about,
exclusive.
inventory is a big deal.
Anybody can
and
sign
it's also
up.
a big deal
It's
trying to
exclusive.
worry about storing it, trying to
That's it.
figure out how do I get my inventory close to the buyers? Where are my buyers? All the logistical challenges. So I think with SFN is how do we simplify it all, make onboarding great, and then make sure every merchant can have fast shipping across the planet. So that's kind of in a nutshell what our vision
They
was.
fooled me with this
Everything
hour
you've heard
calendar
today,
invite they sent me though.
Our whole mission is
Yeah,
to
they
be
did.
behind you and supporting your brand. So when
I was like,
when
how are they going to do
packages
this in
show
an
up,
hour?
to the door.
They're not. That's
it's going
how.
to be your logo.
They don't plan on it.
It's going to be your packing slip.
Suck you in.
We've done some nifty things with Liquid, which is our theme editing language that you build your online store with. It's the same language you use to customize your packing slip. So I think that's been a big philosophy around how we've built out the Shopify fulfillment network. Is it's your package.
Oh, so you're looking at it.
Yeah, and you pair that with the 2-day shipping,
It's still
you get
not
like
live. It's
a
still not
really,
live.
really great customer experience that you're able to just offer with Shopify Fulfillment Network. So, I mean, it's been 11 months, but I know behind the scenes we've been really, really busy. Last year, a lot of people probably heard we acquired a company called 6 River Systems. Can you go into it a bit? I mean, it's robots,
You're
you
right.
know.
I almost
Did you
forgot
acquire
about
all
talking
6
about
rivers?
that. It's a good
Or just 3
reminder.
or 4 of
in the
them?
last 11 months, a lot of it went really quickly, and the last 8 weeks maybe have slowed down to a crawl, but a lot's happened. So one of the things we're trying to get done is we believe like technology is going to play a huge factor in us providing a really reliable fulfillment network. So we've been looking at who else has had that passion and that mission with us, and we found a great company in Boston called 6 River Systems, and they are experts at fulfillment, great at technology, have a lot of expertise in this. So we acquired them last October, and one of the cool things.
Wonder how much they acquired them for.
The Shopify Fulfillment Network family is collaborative robotics, which
I don't know. They got plenty of money.
That really
Shopify, if you're interested in acquiring somebody that's an expert in mediocre live
So anyway,
streams,
really
give me a
excited. Now,
howl.
we call these robots Chuck after the Boston or the Charles River in Boston as well. So we're really excited about these collaborative robots.
What do you mean by collaborative robots? Can you break
What
that
do
down
you
a
mean
bit?
by collaborative robots?
Okay, well, maybe, why don't I just show you while I talk through it? So I'm just going to grab my phone, and we have a little model here. So I'm actually going to put a Chuck into my office, and I'm going to walk you through what they look like and what they do and what problems they're solving. So, okay, let me just move to that. Okay, so we've got Chuck. Here you can see what this robot looks like. And the whole idea about collaborative is these are self-driving autonomous robots that zip around within warehouses. And their jobs are to make it easier for associates to pick things and not have to walk the whole length of the actual warehouse. So there's 3 parts to the Chuck that's really, really great. The first one, as you can see here, is the main screen. So what happens is Chucks go to an index spot in the warehouse where they basically get their work. And their work is done by us having a lot of analytics and a mapping of the warehouse, and we kind of know what orders are coming in, so we can batch them. And then we basically give the work to the Chuck, and then the Chuck goes off, zips off to its zone, and it finds some associates, and the screen basically says, "Hey, welcome, associate. Follow me, right? Follow the leader. Follows through the warehouse." And when the Chuck is full, the Chuck basically zips back to the packing station. So that's where we call it collaborative, because it really makes the associate's job a lot easier. Historically, they had to push.
I need some clarification there. Did he
around,
say it was designed to keep the associate from walking through the warehouse,
take 50%
but then the associate follows the robot through the warehouse?
The deployment so far.
It's exactly what I was thinking.
2 to 3 times.
Okay.
He still has to
more
follow it, but
efficient
I guess
at
he doesn't have to
actually
take it
picking
all the
and
way
packing
to the
orders.
packing
So,
station.
I mean, he doesn't have to code. He doesn't have to carry a bunch of stuff. I would just think why don't we have like associates for each section or aisle, and then the robot just stops and says, "Here's what I need." You drop it, and then it. Maybe that's what they're. I don't know. If I'm going to be, I guess I'll be happy I don't have to tote packages, but if I got to follow a robot around and take orders all day, I'm not going to be real happy about that.
I don't know about you, Vanessa, but
I know better, robot
experts until the last 9 months. But
I agree. They should have a social in every row, and the robot comes up and says, "I need something from this row." Okay, there you go. Bye.
Prestigious award was awarded, and I think they won 2. One for functionality and one for flexibility.
I thought it was AR. He's actually
it glitched like it was AR, didn't it?
It did, didn't it?
Pretty nice. So
I think he's using AR.
Anyway, we're really excited about Chuck. The team at 6 Rivers, I think, is bringing a lot of expertise to us as well, and just the model that I was just showing, we'll make it available so you can.
I wonder if it was founded by 6 people, all named River.
So cool, so cool. Yeah, I didn't really know that. Funny enough, I actually did my undergraduate in robotics, so it's funny that you say that. But I actually didn't even know that there was a design award for robotics, so that's really cool. Okay, so we've talked a lot about efficiency. I think that's kind of
she obviously hasn't seen the
something that
movie
we're
21.
going to have to see in warehouses, not only just the distribution of more warehouse
Those kids
locations
won an
everywhere,
award
but
for
also,
designing a
within
robot.
each warehouse.
What was
it has to be
I
really
forget what
efficient
it was
and
like the
work really
10-20
well with
prize
the
or something
associates that
stupid like
work
that.
inside those locations. Amazing.
Good movie though. If you haven't
Yeah,
seen
and I think,
21,
like,
go watch
so
it. I
maybe
think it's on
just wrap up
Netflix.
The
Yeah, I
shipping
saw
part
it.
here.
That was a good one. Yep.
Obviously it's pretty
That was one with
serious
Kevin
we're
Spacey,
investing in
right?
this. I think
Yes.
the last 11 months we've shown
He
that.
was the professor?
We talked about investing $1 billion over 5 years. We're a year into that investment now. And hopefully what I'm walking you through right now is just proof that we're taking this really seriously. We're really excited
they're in
about
Waltham,
the technology, but also the
Massachusetts.
user experience. Like we
Okay.
call it a
Lot
Shopify
of rivers
Fulfillment
there.
Network
6 rivers.
because we want it to make it easy for you to onboard. Right?
Waltham.
We want to take care of distributing your
been to
goods.
Waltham,
We want to
Massachusetts.
help you decide how you can get your goods close to the
I know what
buyers,
6 Rivers
so you don't have to worry about that. It's
There's
going to
nothing
be
on
a,
their
you know,
website
a
that
multi-year
says
journey.
how they
There's
got the
some things we
name.
do really well with the Shopify Fulfillment Network today, and there's obviously some things we
See,
have to,
maybe
we're
that's
going to have to
that's a
improve
sign
with.
it's
So, you know, our
live.
sweet spot might
But
not
also
be
maybe
for
they're
new
like,
buyers
let's
right
leave
now.
that in.
And that's kind of okay. But I think
He said
if you're doing 10 or more
fulfillment.
orders a day, if you've got 2,000 SKUs or less, I think we're definitely open for business and would love to onboard as many of you who are listening.
2,000
who
SKUs
have a
or
payment
less?
Fulfillment, we're open and really.
I wonder how you come up with that number.
Easy. The early access label is off. It is fully
been
open.
ripped off.
We are
Yeah.
That's
ready.
as many SKUs as they can handle because all our associates have to follow robots
I'm
all
actually
day and they're not
surprised you
real
haven't
fast
talked
moving.
about
They have
one
tiny
topic
wheels.
that you're pretty known for talking about, especially on Twitter. We haven't talked about performance at all.
We haven't. Well, I guess we talked about robots' performance, but not Shopify's performance, which there's a lot to talk about today. But one of my jobs at Shopify obviously is to be a megaphone.
I
for
regularly
making sure
go
that
and
people
look at
realize that
Shopify
speed
or
is
status.shopify.com,
Shopify's number one feature in a lot of ways.
status.ecommerce.com.
People are impatient.
Look at other platforms and
clicking
things.
buttons.
I have to give them credit. Their first bite and their first page load times generally outpace everyone.
Yeah, here's the thing about the status.shopify.com. If I'm not mistaken, Shopify does not count any outage that is dependent upon a third-party service. So how do you define that? That's where there's some so if Google is out and that's where they're hosted, I don't even know where they're hosted, somewhere like that. If that's out, that's a third-party service. Do you count that? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they
that's
don't.
a good point. That's a good point. What the Shopify did change on their status thing is that when you're logged in to your store, you can see the performance status on your particular instance, your store, not just the system wide, which is kind of neat.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Image size. We do all that for free, and we've been spending a lot of time making sure that's actually reality. You don't have to care about. And there's one final piece here that we've been investing in for the last almost 2 years now.
I'm gonna scream first collared shirt I
online
see.
store engine, the engine that takes all of your themes and then spits out the actual online store.
Like, I'm with it.
That
I
piece has
like
been
it.
rebuilt
I'm
from
not
scratch.
joking. I'm liking it.
And
It's cool.
it's being deployed right now to merchants. We have several plus merchants on our new online store engine, and they're seeing between 50% to 100% improvement on load times for online stores, and that's rolling out right now as I speak. Everyone, again, it's just turned on by default. You don't have to say anything. It's just
You don't have to say anything.
And for those
is there a
who maybe don't
password
know
for
what
other
points of
things you want to
presence
turn
is,
on? What's
it's
the
really just
special
means,
word?
We have
Mecca
servers
like a high,
everywhere
Mecca
around the
hey,
world
yo.
now, so it's really close, similar to actually SFN, what you just said. It's really close to where your people are viewing it, and so it's really fast. Love drawing those connections. And so you also mentioned hey, you get some stuff for free. What's the stuff you maybe don't get for free?
Can't tell. Does she have a collar?
Yeah, so maybe on the theme side, right? There's a
Maybe.
lot of configuration.
I wasn't looking. That ruins the whole
themes
theory.
You have, what apps you have.
I think so. I think that's a polo shirt, wasn't it?
Hire
I
developers
don't know.
that go in and actually.
It just goes back to I'm not really
all
paying that
has
close
an
of
impact,
attention.
Obviously, on how fast your theme's going to be. So what we're doing as well is we're launching in a couple of months a performance dashboard that's going to show up into Shopify. And what that's going to let you as a shop owner see is how's your shop doing over time. And that's one of the big advantages we have at Shopify is there's a lot of web performance tools out there. You can go and see how fast your web store is, but there's no one who's saying how it's doing over time. Is there anything you've done to your shop that might have had an actual significant impact
wow.
to your performance.
I like that. Yeah,
I think that's
pretty cool.
launching pretty soon, and maybe I can just give you a quick demo of it right now. So
Demo it for me,
yeah.
baby.
Bring it
Come
up
on,
here.
give it to me.
So you can see at the top, one of the important things, you can actually see the distinction. On the left is all the stuff you get for free from Shopify. That's time to first byte. That's all the networking stuff you just get. And that shows you kind of how good Shopify is doing it at serving all of your data across the world. And the other side is how does your online store perform once it's all loaded into the browser. And what's really cool here is if we scroll down a bit, you can actually see the history of this over time. And you can see whenever you change themes, you can see when you installed apps, you can see when someone logged in and updated a theme. And this is going to help you get really good visibility to kind of, be as obsessive compulsive performance as I am. And we're trying to put that in as many of your hands
Now we're
as
getting to
possible
some
so you
fun
can
stuff.
make it
Who
really
cares
easy
about
to
financing and crap like
again,
that?
staying fast because we know,
Technical tools, that's where the fun is.
You're
Key fun
such
thing,
a
but
beanie
speed
head, I
affects
love
SEO. SEO, impacts people landing on your site. People on your site are happier when things are fast. It impacts conversion. So I think we all have to.
Well, it makes it easier
kind of be
for
as
anyone
obsessed
working
as
with
we
Shopify
are about making sure your online stores are fast.
to point out
this
some
is,
key analytics.
The dashboard you're seeing is coming soon.
Other
I
money.
can't wait to get in your hands.
For
Yeah, because I think it's one thing to give you guys the
outside
numbers, but it's
monitoring
another to
services,
actually
measurement
showcase
tools,
like
that
what
kind of
has
stuff.
happened that has
Because sometimes
impacted that, so
merchants,
you can actually
particularly
go and do
SMB,
something
don't really
about it.
understand the value of those
really,
tools.
really cool stuff.
And so it's hard
Okay,
to
all
say,
right.
well, you need to
We
spend
got-
so
we
much a
got the
month to
performance
have
in
a,
there, Mel.
outside
I'm done with- I'm
pingdom
done
or
with-
something,
All right, thank you so
monitor and
much
that
for
kind of
coming
thing. But here, baked in,
Thanks. Wow,
one of the
lots
things
stuff.
that, and I'm sure you do something like this, TJ, but we've always, in the past, when we were doing developing stores, we always had a once a week meeting with our clients, even after launch, just to go look at metrics, look at performance, just to say, hey, there's an area here that could use some improvement. You want us to help you with that, or is this something you can address? And that's really helped a lot in keeping our clients loyal over years and years and years. It's just that weekend, just once a week, half an hour, just jump on a call and look at their metrics. And having metrics that are this convenient and accessible that they can see and look at, I think is really cool.
I agree. And as Joseph said in the chat there, this is huge. And Joseph said, how soon will we have that?
We'd love to welcome our Chief Operating Officer, Harley.
I don't know. We were talking, Joseph. Sorry.
Hey there.
We may have missed that.
And thanks, Vanessa.
Soon, hopefully.
Hey, friends,
Maybe
Harley
already
here.
be there. Not sure.
You've probably heard a lot about our mission, that we're trying to make commerce better for everyone.
Ooh, he's got
And a
like the
large part of
frosted
commerce
kind of
is
hand-blown
banking and
glass
financial
look back
services.
there, man. That's
I think we can
swanky.
all agree that there is so much room for improvement there. We think we can
He's
do better.
reading.
Most of today's banking products are built from a traditional bank's point of view. The products are designed for large, established businesses, and they do not move as fast as our
He's a
merchants
pretty
do.
fluent reader,
They're not
though.
flexible, and they need to be. They aren't designed around the needs of independent businesses and entrepreneurs. And we want to change that. We're going to give all eligible merchants and all of our plans.
Anybody in the
financial
chat know what the
products they
hat
need
is? Like,
to
what is the
start,
three
run,
wavy
and grow their
lines?
business.
I have
We want to
no
build
idea.
the best business account designed specifically for independent businesses and
He had to
entrepreneurs.
cover his COVID
Wait,
hair.
And we're calling
Wait,
it Shopify Balance. Shopify Balance will give independent businesses the tools that are typically reserved for only the largest businesses in the world. But right from the Shopify admin, you'll be able to pay your bills, track your expenses, and make smart decisions about the future of your business. And if you need more funding, you can get that right there without
Hadn't heard
any
about
delay.
that.
Your money from your sales will land right into your balance much faster than it would with any legacy bank.
I'll be damned.
And you will not have to pay any minimum fees or maintain any type of minimum balance. You will also get the Shopify card, so you can make payments in person and online, and even take out funds from an ATM. And you can have a virtual one or a physical one
now
with
they're
your
getting
business
banking.
name right on it.
All right, Harley, stop
Shopify
teasing us.
Bank.
Let's see the card.
It's right here.
Oh my
Wait,
gosh.
it's blurry.
It's out of focus. There you
This card will not just have your name and logo on it. It'll also be designed specifically
Like the
to
Apple
reward
card.
Shopify merchants. We're building the best rewards program ever for independent business and entrepreneurs.
That's phenomenal.
Things
So
that you
now
all
you
value, like
use your Shopify
cashback
payment
and partner
balance
discounts
to
on
pay
important
your
things
card.
like shipping and marketing. We want to make the Shopify card better than any bank card you've ever had. And we're in a rush to get it into your hands. Our plan is to launch Balance for early access later this year to US merchants on Shopify payments, and then we'll expand to other countries. Boom. Is that my mic drop moment, I guess? Are we done here?
100%. That is a very, very mic drop moment.
Well, that's pretty
Thanks
cool.
so much, Harley.
We use
It's a really big
reward
product we're
cards
launching,
now.
Shopify
High
Balance.
inventory,
It's super
pay for
magical.
shipping and monthly services and stuff. So now they're getting that shot. They will be getting that shot.
That's right. Thanks.
It's interesting.
Actually, I have something important that I thought I would share. So no more announcements, no more launches, just something to close out the time we spent together today. And it may sound a little strange, a little cheesy, but I wrote a letter to all of you watching, to all the entrepreneurs here today. And here goes. I've spent my life admiring entrepreneurs who have built massive companies, and also entrepreneurs who have built small businesses with a lot of meaning. My grandfather became an entrepreneur in the 50s as a new immigrant to Canada. His reason was survival. When my grandmother turned 60, she became an entrepreneur for self-reliance. And my moment, that came in 2001 when I started supporting myself as a student. My reason for becoming an entrepreneur was equal parts passion and necessity. And I've always felt that entrepreneurship is this profound way to build something of value. And when things are rough like they are right now,
he says entrepreneur
maybe
a
even
lot
a way to
nicer than I
survive
do.
and thrive. Some have accused me of being entrepreneur obsessed, and maybe that's true.
He's closer to Quebec.
It's been about a decade
It's
since
what
I
it
joined
is.
this scrappy little startup called Shopify and committed my life to helping entrepreneurs all over the world. In my first few weeks at Shopify, when we had only a couple thousand merchants, I remember thinking, one day we might even help our 1 millionth merchant. And a few months ago, that actually happened. Our entire company exists for one reason, to make commerce better for everyone. And the way we do that is supporting entrepreneurs in everything that we do. I want to play you something that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. It's a call to our support line from a merchant. The merchants and farmer in the US hit really hard by the pandemic.
Hi, thank you for calling Shopify's retail support.
I have a Shopify account I've been working on to launch an online store for selling local vegetables and flowers. We're just barely able to do this in the midst of trying to grow all this stuff. However, there is interest now of coming to pick up the vegetables on the farm, of which we hope to do pre-sales online.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could cry right now because if it weren't for Shopify, I don't think we have a farm. So I don't think we'd sell anything. And I almost didn't set it up because building a website is so hard and Shopify made it so easy. You know, they should know they're really helping people. And it's really important.
That speaks to me on a, yeah.
Damn it,
For me,
Shopify!
this
I'm
is
not
an
supposed to be
emotional
crying
reminder of
today.
how Shopify can bridge the gap
God.
between a family
Jesus
business
Christ! I
that's
want to
failed
buy some vegetables. What's the website?
This is why we're here. This is why all of us are here. And that farmer, she's going to keep feeding her family and her community
commercial.
because we were here. She's going to do great. And
great.
the world
I mean,
looks a hell
that's
of a
all you
lot
need
better
for
with
an ad,
businesses
right
like
there.
hers.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
There are
Sign
so
me
many
up.
wonderful
That's it.
things about starting a business and being an
Mic
entrepreneur. But there is one major downside. It can be lonely. It can be isolating. And it's not always clear who to turn to for help or advice. Enter all of you, all of us. We are each on our own journeys
This guy needs
in
a
our own
podcast.
corners of the world
If
right
he doesn't
now,
have one, he needs
seeking
a
our own
podcast.
versions of success and our own versions of independence. Right now, we may be physically distant, but we are not alone.
This sounds like a Gimlet Media
Together,
production
we are
already.
the strongest collective entrepreneurs on
He
the
needs a
planet.
teleprompter so he can look
Community
right
over
into the
everything.
lens.
Many of you have heard me say we want to arm the rebels. We want to make sure that entrepreneurs have everything they need to succeed. That was our objective from the start, and it feels like that is more important now than ever before. We've been thrown in
Now,
to
he's
an
good at videos, though,
unprecedented
man. He's
challenge,
got a good energy.
but we've shown we will not let it break us.
He's
got a
not,
great
he's
energy.
not right
We
into
are
it, but honestly,
resilient.
on my
And
videos,
it's time
I'm
for
not
us to
either.
step
So
up, to reach out, to build,
he's got
to
a good
work,
energy.
and to
He's-
push.
this is
is
a
our
little more
moment,
polished
right
for
now,
video
right
production.
fucking now. So to our merchants,
drop the
to our
death bomb.
partners, and
Awesome.
to anyone who's ever bought anything from a Shopify store, we say thank you. The future of commerce is here, and we are that future together. Thank you all for joining us for Shopify Reunite.
Is it?
All right.
That's it? We're done?
Cool.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, that looks like that was it. So I appreciate
it.
everybody joining us. It was fun. It was a little different. Again, we're just experimenting. We're trying different things here. I want to thank Brett for for helping us out here. Again, Brett, if you would, tell everybody about the event you've got coming up and how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, Daylight Time, we're starting the first in a weekly series of open town halls for SMB e-commerce. So if you have questions or comments, you want to talk about SMB, it's 1 hour long. I promise you, 1 hour. And we have special guests. Our first special guest tomorrow will be Tony Capetto with Sales and Orders. And he's going to be talking about the Google Shopping, how you can get Google products on Google Shopping for free now, and talking to people about that and answering your questions. TJ, we got to get you on one of these shows as well coming up. And it'll also be recorded and put onto our podcast so you can listen to it later. But if you need to register to get the link for the town hall tomorrow, if you can put that, I don't know if you can put that up there or not. I gave you the link. It's Matt.
Yeah, it's a little too late, but the link's out there. I'll post it in the description of the video when it's done.
All right, great. Just go there to register. You can go to mavericecommerce.com, and there's a pop-up there where you can go to register for the town hall as well. So TJ, it's always fun.
Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway from the live stream today? What was the surprise? Was it the card at the end? Because that shocked the heck out of me.
Oh, the card was a surprise. I didn't know about Shopify Balance. I think what is not hitting people clearly enough, and Shopify sometimes has a problem in really bringing to the top surface some of their great things, is Shopify fulfillment. I mean, that really can be a game changer for the little merchant who has their own inventory and really wants to get it delivered and shipped in an FBA way, but not have to go through all the hoops of Amazon FBA. And I think that could be a real game changer for a lot of small merchants that have their own products, their own inventory. Maybe it's products that don't have a clear barcode or category that Amazon can use, but they can use this as a shipping channel. So I think that's a big takeaway.
I agree. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. It has been a long morning already. That stream went, what were we, an hour and a half? Was that? It may have been longer than that. I don't even. That was more like 2 hours they were streaming, something like that. So I've drank a little too much. Now I got to go do some work. So, wish me luck this afternoon. Hopefully I don't come across as a drunk all afternoon with all of my afternoon calls. But thank everybody for tuning in. Again, this is experimental. We're just trying some different stuff. So let me know in the chat or in the comments if you catch this later, if you like this type of content, or if you don't. Seem to do pretty well on YouTube, LinkedIn, a little bit not. So with that, though, I am going to call it a day, and we will catch you guys next time. Got a couple of streams I'm working on booking right now, and I'll let you know after we get those out. So see you guys later. Have a nice afternoon.